I live with my dad. You're a synth bro, and I'm just a chat. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a synth bro, and I'm just a chat. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. You know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing.
In the beginning, there was nothing, and then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true.
Sometimes I cry.
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is a special Sunday edition.
Going live.
Episode 1373. Back again doing it live after taking a Saturday off. And it's kind of strange. It was kind of good timing because there was some big news today. Huge news. Amazing news. I actually cooked barbecued ribs today.
Ooh, were they boneless or?
Yeah, they were country
beef?
style. They were country style boneless
Crazy
pork
how Ben
ribs.
postponed yesterday shown Biden would drop out today.
Oh yeah,
brings
that
up a
happened
good point.
too.
Ben and I obviously have connections with the CIA, and they told us, they said, hey, boys, wait a day. They said, wait a day. Push the show back one day. So, you know.
Everyone, please give the stream a like. Would really appreciate the like. Also, it's the bonus show, so we're trying to reach that goal up at the top of the screen. If you want to throw us a couple dollars, help us reach that goal before the end of the show, we'd be very appreciative of that. And we're going to get into all of the big news that transpired today, aside from me cooking barbecued ribs. Let's check it out.
He called me sir, and it got me so fuming angry.
People are discriminating against wolves.
Wow. They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
And you better well learn to love it.
Quick reminder before we get into the news, you still have a chance to pick up the Sweet Boy Summer sticker. It's available through our merch tier, the $33 tier, on patreon.com/DP. And then we have a t-shirt at the $50 tier perk mark. It's right there. You get that and the sticker if you sign up for the $50 one. Sign up at any point before the end of this month, and I'll be sending this to you. So,
Cry babies.
Yeah, don't wait.
You crybabies need to get out your $50 tiers.
Don't wait too long because the month will end and then you'll miss it. So yeah, don't forget. Please sign up. Patreon.com/DP. It's linked down below in the description. All right, we're gonna check out what happened in the news today. So this is where Biden released it. I don't know where all he did it, but I saw it on Twitter. I follow Biden on Twitter, and this was in my feed probably like 14 minutes after he posted it.
Yeah, I don't know if Biden has a TikTok, but I imagine he would have put it there too.
He might have a TikTok, but he didn't. I mean, it'd be weird to post this on TikTok, I guess, with some kind of music or something behind it. But yeah, this is he posted this. He says,
"You think he had ChatGPT write it up?"
No, I don't. He says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, not enough, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans." I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's true. I have no idea. I don't know how it's a record number. I mean, didn't the original Affordable Care Act do that? Is it just a record number because there's more Americans than there were like
they might have
12
made
years
it
ago?
Even more affordable, but maybe it is.
It went up for me, and I use Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. It went up for me for the same coverage. So I don't know. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. Appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. And passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. Any thoughts on any of the statements made there?
Yeah, this is all true. Biden did more in 4 years than most presidents do in 8 years. I think it's honorable for him to step down now and give a woman her chance. Time for her to make her story.
He did guarantee before he ran for president that he would have a woman vice president, pretty much putting her in the role that she's assuming right now. If I kind of saw this, but people even were DMing me. They were saying like 10 years ago you said something like this would happen. The only thing that hasn't happened yet that I said might actually happen was Biden's going to leave the rest of his term to Kamala. But
yeah,
as of right now, it hasn't happened, but he could very well do it. I don't know how well he's doing. Like, this was written. Normally, the president would do like a video address, like, you know, like from the Oval Office or whatever. I think the COVID's is hitting Biden pretty hard right now.
Yeah,
yeah. So if
pretty
he does,
wild.
Go ahead.
Pretty wild that Trump got had the assassination attempt this week, and Biden's the one that got taken out.
I think. I mean, I guess time will tell. If he gets like really, really, really sick, then he could pass it along.
Yeah,
we'll see. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Sure. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I guess we'll see what happens with that.
He's saying that he wants to fulfill the remainder of his term.
I mean, he was saying he was going to run, too, like a couple days ago. So I don't know. I have seen a few people, like a few, political analysts say he should probably just step down. I think it could only help Kamala in the race itself if she goes in as president, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Would that cut into her 8 years?
Nope.
Would that? Okay.
Nope. It's not even a full year. For the rest of his term, so it wouldn't cut in at all. She'd get to run 2 more times, so she'd get a full 2 terms if she won the second term. For now, let me express my Hold on. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. What about single-payer health care?
Oh, snap.
We just have to remember we are the United States of America. Signed, Joe Biden. There you have it.
Our president does have trouble remembering things, so it's nice for him to end this saying, remember that we're the United States of America. Maybe he might wake up one day and think he's in Canada.
Maybe he just thought he was taking notes at that point. Like reminding himself, you know?
Got to remember we're the United States of America.
Yeah, don't forget about that. I mean, Trump thought someone else was the president of Puerto Rico.
Yeah. I'd like to meet the president of Puerto Rico.
Here's
Trump.
Here's a clip from CNN. I guess Kamala made a statement. And by the way, most Democrats are agreeing that Kamala should be running. A big part of it is since she was Biden's running mate, she has access to all the money that was donated to Biden. And
nice.
Yeah, so anybody else, like if they did choose to run someone else, they wouldn't get all of that money that Biden's gotten, you know, ever since he officially announced his candidacy.
MJ, I understand that the Vice President Kamala Harris has issued her first public statement. I don't know if you have it right there, but presumably it's on your phone. If you didn't have it, maybe you could read it to our viewers.
Yeah, I've got it. Wolf, we do have the first public statement from Vice President Kamala Harris in the aftermath of President Biden dropping out of the 2024 race. She says that she was honored to have received President Biden's endorsement and intends to earn and win the nomination for the presidency. This, of course, is
And by the way, most of the high-ranking Democrats have fallen in line and endorsed Kamala. You know who hasn't yet, though, officially?
Who?
Obama.
Who, you think he's going to put Michelle in?
No, but I don't know if he might just be waiting until it's like cemented, you know, like they, you know, they have the convention or whatever. But he mentioned that he agreed with Biden's decision, but he didn't endorse Kamala yet.
If Obama shows up to the Democratic National Convention with The Rock, Beyonce, and Michelle.
It's about time we had a Gen X candidate. Screw all these super old people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is pretty
it's
crazy.
nice to have some young talent in the pool. But if Obama showed up with Beyonce and The Rock and was like Michelle Obama for president, she'd win.
First time that we are hearing from him. We did report earlier that President Biden and Vice President Harris did speak on the phone earlier today. That is not surprising. Just a little bit more from the Vice President's statement here. She says, I am honored to have the president's endorsement and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. And she also says, talks about how it has been such a profound honor to have served as the president's vice president, expresses her gratitude to First Lady Jill Biden as well, and talks about sort of the relationship that they have built over the years.
There is a short list of vice presidential candidates that they've been floating around out there, and they have various people like the governor of Michigan and some other people. But I guess this isn't going to happen. Maybe she's not in the cards. Either she doesn't want to or they don't think she should. But I was like, AOC, she's just barely old enough to be vice president.
Yeah.
They could run her and she can be the millennial representation, and her views are way more left than Kamala, so she could court that further left voting bloc as the vice president. I thought that would be a good idea, but
yeah,
what
AOC
do I know?
is poggers. I mean, you know a lot. You follow politics closely. AOC is poggers, so she might be able to run with Vance now that we know that Vance played Magic the Gathering cards. So, like, we do need a vice president that can hang with a vice president that plays Magic the Gathering cards.
So, okay, so people are mentioning in the chat that Whitmer and Newsom said they weren't going to run. That was when Biden was saying he was going to run. That's political, because if Biden would have ended up running and they would have opposed him while he was still running, that's like political suicide. So now that he's out of the picture, they can say, oh, I was loyal to Biden, but now that he chose to step down, sure, I'll run for vice president or whatever.
If AOC did run for president and her slogan was AOC can get it, so many people would vote for
It'd
AOC.
probably be vice president this time, but yeah.
Including
she'd be the youngest vice president ever.
Including the relationship that she had with the president's late son, Beau Biden. This, of course, is something that the president has talked about in the past as having been a factor when he was trying to decide
elected as her vice president.
Who his vice presidential running mate would be.
I don't know, dude. You're throwing all these what ifs at me. They're so unlikely. I don't know what to say. That'd be weird. That's my blanket answer to any random celebrity or felon or like whatever.
The VP pick will be the whitest white straight man you have ever seen.
Quite probably, because, you know, they got enough color on the ticket for a lot of racists out there. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is Gavin Newsom the whitest white man, straight man that we have in the Democratic Party right now?
Well, he has the most
I
charisma.
can't wait to see all the racist attacks on Kamala from the right. Don't disappoint me. Right.
Do you know what's so weird? Do you know what's so weird? Gavin Newsom's ex-wife is Donald Trump Jr.'s current girlfriend. Did you know that?
Yeah, they just pass him around over there.
That's so weird.
2020. The vice president also says in her statement, with this selfless and patriotic act, President Biden is doing what he has done throughout his life of service, putting the American people and our country above everything else. Wolf, all of the attention now is going
with
to
Mark Kelly.
No.
A lot of our chat is saying Mark Kelly is the VP for me.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Bringing up Mark Kelly. Yeah, I haven't heard of him either.
Yeah, in a few of these clips, they bring up like the pictures of all the people that are most likely. But sometimes, my first election I voted in was 2000, and there were a lot of times where it was like the person you thought it was going to be, but there were a few surprises. Palin being the biggest surprise out of any of the elections I voted in.
Really be
no one saw that coming, and in the end, that was detrimental to McCain. But I don't think anyone was going to beat Obama.
Yeah, I think Obama was a steam train. I think we were ready for a Democratic president. That 8 years of Bush was taxing, and it was interesting they went with Palin. If they knew they were going to lose either way, it was a pretty progressive statement to make, to say, hey, we're willing to put a woman up at the ticket.
Yeah, it was very surprising. She was just a dipshit, and that was the problem. If they would have picked someone smarter that was a woman, it probably would have went better. But Obama, so like that election, Obama versus Hillary, it's kind of like the playoffs when like the playoffs are more competitive than the actual Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So like Obama versus Hillary was more like the big matchup in that whole election season, and Obama beat Hillary, so it was like, oh shit, he's beating McCain so easily.
Yeah. I remember Monday Night Raw, they had Obama send in a promo, they had Hillary send in a promo, and they had McCain send in a promo.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was wild to have the presidential candidates.
Hillary was like, you could call me Hillrod. And and McCain was like, what you gonna do when me and my McCainiacs run wild on you? Do you remember that?
Yeah, McCain actually did cut the better promo,
he did.
I think.
It was the best one.
But Barack had the best line when he was like, do you smell what Barack is cooking? Mm-hmm. That was like
made for him.
That one worked the best.
Yeah.
On Kamala Harris, this has already been the case for the last several weeks, as we have been sort of in limbo, trying to see where the president was going to land in terms of his own decision. But of course, given that things seemed headed in the wrong direction for the president for a while now, there has been a lot of...
It was the bad debate, and then it was a bad interview, and then he got sick. He probably did like 3 or 4 really bad interviews, and then he got sick. And now we haven't heard from before today for a little while.
Speculation about Vice President Harris and whether an endorsement formally would come from the president, which of course it has. And so now we are going to be paying close attention to everything that she does just in the coming days. How does she carry herself in public now that this news is out? Does she sort of step up her campaign operations, which according to our reporting, of course, is going to be the case. We already know that in the last several days, we have seen her sort of step up as the president has been in Rehoboth, including at the last minute jumping on a call with concerned donors just several days ago, within the last 48 hours or so. So
that's who they really answer to. The people that fund their campaign. And when I remember the woman who runs Disney these days, like her last name is Disney. I think she's Walt Disney's like great niece or something, or grand niece or whatever you want to call it. She pulled her donations like a week after the debate. So I was whoa, now it's serious, you know? When the people giving them millions of dollars for their campaign start pulling out, that's like advertisers pulling out of a TV show or something.
Do you think that there's any chance that Biden was always going to pull out? He knew he was going to pull out, but he wanted to wait until the last minute so nobody else could come in and put a campaign together with enough time before the national convention?
No, I don't think that that's likely at all. Because it doesn't really matter. Like if Kamala Harris wants to run, she's the heir apparent. So I don't think they were really concerned about anyone else putting together a campaign. So no.
This is
Lewis
something.
Says pull-out games weak. Biden does have a weak pull-out game. When he pulled out of the Middle East, that was pretty bad. He's pulling out of the presidency. Makes him look really weak. He made Hunter Biden.
Now, that is totally a different situation for Vice President Kamala Harris than it was, of course, a day ago. And all attention is going to be on her as the party now figures out how they are going to.
I wonder if they discuss the possible. Oh, yeah, Van Jones. Let's see what he says here. Yeah, she did say earn and win, and I'm like, is she going to push for a brokered convention? Because that would be weird. She doesn't need to do that. They're going to just hand it to her.
She does have to like earn and win it, right? They can't just actually. They have to make a point to let everybody step up to the plate, right?
No, they don't have to do that. They can literally just choose her. They don't have to. They don't have to have. They haven't had a brokered convention in decades. And she was running with Biden as the incumbent. She's basically assuming his role as the incumbent, just as she would his presidency. If he's handing it over to her.
We're just talking about what this day means and the significance of this in a personal level
for
President Biden. But also, it's a real calculus now for.
Okay.
My man's took his glasses off.
Is he doing that so you can see the crocodile tears that he's working up?
Maybe.
For Democrats, of what do they do, given there are 4 months to go before the presidential election? What do you make of Harris's statement where she plans to earn and win this nomination?
I think it's very politically astute of her to say that because, again, this is a party that runs by rules, and we take the rules very seriously. Technically, Joe Biden can't just say, you're now the nominee.
He can, though. Like, he literally can. Like, he said he was the nominee, and everyone was like, okay, I guess we'll just let him do it if he really wants to.
The incumbent always kind of gets the nomination, right?
I mean, they have a primary, but at the end of the day, the party can just choose who they want. It's all a formality. But they were going to let Biden choose whether or not he was running or not, even though some of the higher-ups were very concerned.
If Joe Biden stepped down from president, the Constitution says she's automatically president, but this is not about the Constitution. This is about the Democratic Party. And under our rules, it's the delegates who make the decision. It's not Joe Biden. It's not Kamala Harris. It's not Nancy Pelosi. It's not the Clintons. It's not the Obamas. Our delegates make the decision. And so she's being very politically astute by saying to the delegates, I am going to work to earn your support. I appreciate the support I'm getting from the Clintons and from everyone else, but I understand that it comes down to you. And by saying she's going to work to earn that support, I think that's very, very smart. So that gives the delegates the opportunity to feel that they can, they have a job to do. They have to make a decision here. Also, I think that she's letting other people know the water's warm. You want to jump in? You want to get some? You could try to earn these delegates' support as well. She's not saying, if you come against me...
She already has the support of the majority of the people whose opinion matter on this. Like, they've already... I don't know how long ago this specific clip came out, but it's like... after the announcement happened, all of the big wigs in the Democratic Party endorsed her except for Obama. And Obama endorsed the choice for Biden to drop out, but didn't say, that he didn't throw it out there yet.
Problem. She's not closing the door. She's not saying, I accept Joe Biden, therefore I'm...
What'd you say?
Obama's got a little sneak attack idea.
No.
That's interesting.
So that puts other Democrats in a very interesting position. If you're a swing state governor, if you're a rising star in this party, if you're a celebrity, if you're somebody who wants to say, look, I don't believe in Kamala.
By the way, please like the stream if you haven't already. Give us a big like. Thank you.
I don't trust that she can win. I think I can win. What are you going to do? You're going to have to make the decision that, no, I'm going to raise my hand and I'm going to say, I think I could do a better job. I think I can win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. I think I've got a better shot. And I want those delegates to listen to me. So you're going to have to watch over the next 24, 48 hours. Does anybody else raise their hand and say that they want to also earn the nomination? What she's acknowledging is the nomination is not yet hers. And that's a very, very big deal. That's a true fact. But, in other parties, you might just have somebody just demagogue it, steamroll it, say, everybody get behind me. I am now going to lead this party. She's not doing that. Very politically astute.
But, Vin, you've been involved in Democratic politics.
Why even say other parties? Like, we live in a two-party system.
Yeah.
And it's broken.
Your mic is fucking up.
Your whole life. To see the Clintons, the president, top senators getting behind her as the nominee. Do you think anyone else, if you are a governor or a Democrat who has a lot of star potential going forward, that they'd be brave enough to kind of get in this ring?
I feel like a lot of these people that are kind of in most analysts' minds that could compete against her would probably just agree to be her running mate. In all honesty, most of them probably would, and they would run as a ticket together.
Yeah.
Point with seeing who's lining up behind Harris so far?
It would take an extraordinary amount of self-confidence, belief in self to do it. But are there doors that are still open? Yes, there are doors that are still open. For instance, Pelosi hasn't yet said she's for Kamala. President Obama, as usual, is staying very, very neutral, at least publicly, to make sure that, because he is the rock star of rock stars in this party, that he doesn't tip it one way or the other. And so you do have some doors that are still open. And so, but the grade just got steeper because Joe Biden gave the endorsement. He gave it immediately. The Clintons came out immediately. It wasn't just, by the way, wasn't just Bill Clinton. Let's be fair. It was Bill Clinton and it was Hillary Clinton, a beloved, powerful nominee. The last time we nominated a woman, it was Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton came.
So Bill and Hillary gave their endorsement
out immediately and said, I'm with Kamala. So the grade just got steeper.
Do we think that Bernie would be a vice president choice?
I mean, we just had a whole thing where we're like, hey, Biden, we don't even know if Biden will live 4 more years. And so I don't think we want a vice president that's about the same age as Biden. I think it's time to go younger, definitely same age or younger than Kamala. Kamala's 60. That's just my take on it, but I don't know. I don't think Bernie's too old, man. Like if we're gonna shit on Biden because of his age, I know like Bernie's sharper mentally, but he still like could very well not live 4 more years. I don't know.
For you, but the door is not.
I don't know if we were shitting on Biden necessarily just because of his
not
age.
just, but it was
the way he was acting.
It was the way he was acting, but also like Father Time is undefeated and everything, and even if he kept it together mentally just enough, he could get super feeble, and not be able to handle the schedule.
closed politically. It's certainly not closed from a bureaucratic or technical point of view. Kamala Harris wants to earn that nomination. I guarantee you the whip operation is called a whipping operation. She had people who love her, who believe in her, who work with her for years, who are calling delegates, who are calling online personalities and other people, trying to get people ready to stick with Kamala if the ball comes to her. And so can you put together a whipping operation that's as strong as Kamala's in a short period of time? You have to look at a lot of different challenges here. But if somebody has the fire in the gut and say, listen, I don't believe Kamala can win it at the top of the ticket. I don't believe this. I don't believe that. I think I can do it. Kamala Harris just said.
Bernie's actually older than Biden, like a little less than a year older than Biden.
Come on in. The water's warm.
Well, and you know what I thought about when I saw that both Clintons got behind her? I was thinking of Hillary Clinton, because she is a woman who knows what it's like to run against Donald Trump. And that could be the position we see Harris in. We don't know yet. Obviously, we are keeping our powder dry. We're waiting to see what Democrats decide here. But it does seem like that's a scenario the Trump campaign has been prepping for. They have been singling out Harris. I noticed it multiple times when you and I were in Milwaukee last week for the Republican convention. And I just wonder what, on its early basis,
I want to see how because before she was put into this position, when everyone thought Biden was still going to run because he said it would take God telling him to drop out for him to drop out, Kamala wasn't polling that well. She's going to get a boost because when shit like this happens, they get a boost no matter what. We'll see how much it is and if she can hold on to it between now and November.
Yeah, she's got to, run with the ball now and really show that she is that person. She's got to stand up to Trump. Yes. I think it'd be great if her new slogan was, "He's not grabbing this pussy."
Trump has basically said the debate that he agreed to for September is off. And I'll show you his post on Truth Social about it.
Jack, Kamala has my support. Now I am going to grab some vanilla ice cream with chocolate chips.
Did you know today is National Ice Cream Day?
No, really?
Look it up.
Biden had other plans
for
today.
Do you think that race would look like a Harris versus Donald Trump?
The prosecutor versus the person who got prosecuted. I mean, it kind of writes itself in some ways from our side. Also, you have a younger voice. You have a younger, more dynamic presence. You have somebody who, is...
Yeah, we're in a world where 60 is like a teenager in political years now. It is insane.
60 is a reasonable age to be president.
Most presidents are between 50 and 59. Like, out of all the presidents, 50 and 59, most presidents are in that span.
Thank you, Jules. We have a member of our Discord. For those of you that are not members of the DP Discord,
thank you.
Join the Drunken Peasants Discord. We had members of our Discord talking about possibly John Cena being the vice president nominee.
We've never seen this before. We've never seen a black female, an Asian female. You've never seen that before. And I think Trump's got to figure out how he wants to deal with it. They love to demean women. That's something that the Trump team does a lot. They do it too much. It actually goes against, they put women in positions of power sometimes inside the Trump team, but they still have this public thing of just demeaning women. That's tougher to do when you've got someone like Kamala Harris. Is Kamala Harris going to make the abortion issue a lot tougher? Kamala Harris, the first couple of years, she wasn't impressing a lot of people. Her polling numbers weren't that good. Her confidence inside the Democratic Party
She had a slight boost when she was running for the nomination. There was a few weeks where she was beating Biden in the polling. It was when she attacked Biden during one of the debates, but then Biden pulled way ahead. I was kind of surprised that she was ahead at all, and then she just dipped into oblivion, and Biden inexplicably just climbed in the polls.
Yeah. Before Biden
Trump's
pulled ahead, there was a ton of
cry talk thing she does.
Oh no. Well, before Biden pulled ahead and got the nomination, there was a bunch of people running that kind of peaked and had a moment in the sun. And then someone else came in and peaked. And there was all these hopefuls. And then all of a sudden Biden was like, hey, remember that guy who's been below everybody but steady the entire time? I'm the guy.
Yeah, let's check out this one. This is people asking. I think it's a local news channel. They're asking, should Biden just resign as president since he's not running?
Get right to Peter Ducey as we approach the top of a new hour. As the news is breaking, Peter, you're right there at the White House. What do you know so far, and what have you heard?
Well, we know that President Biden remains at his beach house in Rehoboth, Delaware.
This is Peter Ducey. His dad, I think it's Steve Ducey, is also a Fox News person, and they look very much alike, only one's obviously way younger, but they have like the same face and everything.
And
I commonly mispronounce their name as douchey.
Well, you know.
This is a big surprise if you listen to the things that President Biden and his top aides have been telling us for the last several weeks. It was Friday morning that the campaign put Jen O'Malley Dillon, the campaign manager, out on MSNBC for a 20-minute long interview set to reassure Democrats that President Biden was in it to win it. She had all kinds of information about how they do not think that voters were bailing on Biden and going to Trump. So really, they didn't think that it was going to be that bad, that the last couple of weeks were hard for them, but that the race was still winnable. Every single time that a White House official...
Yeah, literally every day, people in his own party were coming out, like new ones, every day being like, no, we think he should drop out. So...
I think once Biden saw those prophets on YouTube that predicted God would re-enter Trump's life after saving him from the assassination, Biden was like, oh, I got to step down. God's on Trump's side. Got to give him this hellless Kamala Harris.
Asked about these reports that President Biden might be leaving the race, they insisted that it was not true. And they were on social media clapping back at some of the reporters who were not reaching out to them for comment. And the comment every single time was a denial. They were saying he is in the race. He is staying in the race. He wrote that letter to Democrats on.
He's so like, is he about to touch some butt?
Dude, is he about to sniff that woman's hair and grab her butt?
Capitol Hill, where he explained his justification.
He was not right behind her.
It looked like it though. It looked like he was on a collision course.
Dude,
for staying in the race. That is what they kept referring to. There's been so much talk over the last few weeks.
Look at how like
she even looked back.
His arms are like he's doing the robot.
About what decision will President Biden make? Well, he already made up his mind. He told us, and now there is
this footage of him.
Some reporting that at some point this afternoon it all changed. And he phoned his senior aides to let them know that his mind was changed. And they put out this paper.
His hands are always like out in front of him.
For statement. This is something that typically you would expect to either see President Biden do in person or at the very least record a video to post on social media, to post on YouTube, to explain what exactly was going on. We know that he has not been feeling good the last couple days, sick with COVID, so it's possible he just can't do that right now. But he remains in Delaware, and
look at him.
We don't know exactly.
Biden was so out of frame in that shot that for a second I thought he was the guy in the jumpsuit.
When we will see him next. Sandra.
Yeah, he said probably later this week he is going to make some sort of a public statement. I thought that he would have waited until he got over COVID,
yes,
and then announced this in a public statement as opposed to putting out something on paper first. But maybe
that kind of led me to believe that he's very sick and just didn't want to alarm anybody.
Yeah,
wanted to get the
surprise me.
Process going more quickly. So, of course, one of the things that is coming up now, Peter, is if Joe Biden can't stand for re-election, can he continue to be the president?
Well, yeah, he can, but he said he's going to, and he can. He's not like, unless something happened to him where he was incapacitated, and had to resign, he'll stick around.
Yeah. Not only can he stick around as president, he can focus more on presidential duties and give Kamala a platform that is stronger when she comes in and takes it over.
Or he could just hand it over to her. I don't know. We could. There is a weird statistical advantage to being an incumbent. I don't know how much it helps when you've only been president for like 6 months or like 4 or 5 months, however far away the election is. But I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see it happen.
Does a vice president running for president have an advantage as well? Can we look back through history?
Yeah, I would say, well, the last one. Okay, so Joe Biden was vice president, but he didn't run right after he had been vice president. He waited 4 years. But he did win. And then Al Gore technically lost, but actually did win.
Yeah, that was a close one.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you really look at it, Al Gore did win. It's one of the weirdest elections ever.
Or does he need to hand the reins off to Kamala Harris? There's a couple of ways that a president can hand the reins over to the vice president. One is through the 25th Amendment. I mean, of course, another is the demise of the president. But then if the president were to resign the office, then the reins fall to
There's also the weird statistic of a president that became president either because of an assassination or a president resigning. And sometimes they didn't seek re-election, like LBJ didn't seek re-election, and oh God, what's his name? Harry Truman, who became president after FDR died, and he didn't seek re-election.
The vice president, but can he stay on as president if people are saying you're not fit to run for re-election?
He can. I don't think he should.
He
but
insists that he can, and this is a president who cares a lot about his legacy. And so it seems extremely unlikely that this leader...
I think your legacy should be not being selfish and wanting the best for the country overall. And that might include stepping down when you need to. He's already done that halfway.
If he needed to. I think that not seeking re-election is a big move in its own.
Who spends a ton of time. I remember in the late stages of the pandemic, one of the first meetings that he had with a group of people at the White House was with historians. And we know that he has sat at roundtables with historians throughout his tenure. He loves to hold up a list where some group
but he
of
was sitting down with historians not to get information on history from them, but to give them information on history because he lived through it.
Ranked him towards the top of the pack of the best presidents ever. He cares a lot about what scholars think about the things that he has done and the things that...
This is not the time to be talking about taco hats. We are watching the unprecedented collapse of our democracy and the actual rise of a dictator. Trump is already promising retribution and being given absolute power. This is no time for taco hats.
He is doing. And so it seems extremely unlikely that he would do anything to shorten his term.
That's a lot. So we'll see where those calls go from here.
Hey, Sean.
All right, here is...
I've heard that Kamala might be investing in a Choco Taco hat.
Here's Trump's... Here's Trump's Truth Social. When the announcement was first made, he said, "Crooked Joe just got knocked out, so now I'll have to do it a fourth time," which I'm not sure what that means.
Is that the debate?
I don't know. He says, "Does anybody really believe that Crooked Joe had COVID? No, he wanted to get out ever since June 27th, the night of the debate."
But what if Kamala puts on a taco hat? Instant win.
Good point, Brian.
Where he was completely obliterated. That was the big moment in Joe Biden's demise. That was the point in time when Joe Biden was revealed for what he is, an incompetent man who should never have been president. Joe Biden is not fit to serve. He is destroying our country.
Damn.
Where's... Oh, here it is. Here it is. My debate with Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, was slated to be broadcast on Fake News ABC, the home of George Slopadopoulous. sometime in September. Now that Joe has not surprisingly quit the race, I think the debate with whomever the radical left Democrats choose should be held on Fox News rather than very biased ABC. Thank you.
I mean, I don't care where it's held as long as they're able to talk. This last one where they had everybody's like, the last one kind of was hella like kids glove debate.
I'm fine with having muted mics when it's one person's turn to talk. The problem was when Biden had his turn to talk, he couldn't talk because his brain is melting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what made that debate bad. Like, if it was someone who could actually respond to Trump and hit him back with things and be like, you lied about that, this is what happened, that kind of stuff, then it's good to have Trump's mic muted. Let's see.
In our chief political anchor and special report, Bret Baier has got a special edition of his program tonight with Martha between 5 and 7 o'clock. I want to read a couple of things to you. First of all, color from our Brooke Singman, Fox Digital reporter, who says a source very familiar tells Fox Digital that as of last night, the message from President Biden and those around him was, quote, all systems go and campaign full speed ahead. Then at around 1:45 p.m., he notified senior team members that he had changed his mind. Let's get to what might have changed his mind, Brett, but also this statement from Barack and Michelle Obama, which does not endorse Kamala Harris. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton have come out to endorse her. President Biden endorsed her, but here's what...
Okay, here's the thing. They're saying this very deceptively. They didn't not endorse her. Like, they're not endorsing anybody else. They just haven't put out an official endorsement. They're making it sound like Obama's like, I don't endorse her, you know?
Yeah. Some people are suggesting the Obamas are waiting to endorse.
Your mic is fucking up.
Man. Some people are saying that Obama's waiting to endorse her for a weekday so it gets more press.
I don't know, maybe. Or he might just be waiting to see, maybe he might want to see who her running mate is going to be. They're all going to have to figure this out by the end of this month. A bunch of people were saying, like, she has till the end of this month to find a running mate and everything. Because the convention is next month.
The Obamas say, we will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee...
Obama leading Biden off stage like he's his caretaker.
...emerges.
Maybe he is.
He, like, grabbed his arm and was like, come on, Joe.
Ouch.
Yeah. This is going to be fascinating. I think that what we see over the next couple of days as far as Democrats and whether they...
Obama will fall in line and endorse whoever once they make it official. He just doesn't want to accidentally endorse Kamala and have something weird happen where she ends up not being the nominee. That's why he's waiting.
Coalesce around Kamala Harris is going to be really telling for the party. Already you're seeing some, significant endorsements in Congressional Black Caucus. Others, we just saw Senator Tammy Baldwin in a tough race in Wisconsin. She endorsed Kamala Harris. But notably, there are some who haven't.
I almost wish Obama could run again. I mean, like, I have my issues with some of it, like some of his presidency, but I feel like he could still, it's almost like, I feel like there should be a term limit, but then like after so long, you should be able to run again. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If you had to take 8 years off after having 8 years, then you can come back. That might be something to talk about if someone's a really good president.
In Canada, they have unlimited terms as prime minister. They can just that's why Trudeau's been in office for like 10 years now.
Yeah, they had Twitter today was trending. Michelle Obama was trending on my page all day today. People were really bringing her name up, even though she has never once said that she wants to be that. She does have a lot of public favor because of Barack Obama.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see her run this time. Like, I would safely say she's not running this time, and I doubt she'll ever run, but she could someday. But I don't think we're going to see her this time.
Hillary Clinton have, and you're going to see this yes, no, checking the box, whether there's going to be this mini primary or not. But just step back 30,000 feet for a second. The enormity of this action today, the fact that the President of the United States, who just yesterday, all his people were out on TV saying he was 100% in, this is just wrong, that people are coming after him. There was a huge push. Jonathan Martin and others have reported that Team Biden in Delaware were making calls to delegates to make sure that they were on the line with Biden. They were still sticking with Biden, one by one. And then this turn. It has been 56 years since the President of the United States chose not to run for re-election when Lyndon Baines Johnson stepped down and did not run for re-election. Now Joe Biden is doing the same thing. And as mentioned before, I think you're going to see the former president really hit on how is he able to serve the final 5 months. You're seeing Republicans say that as well, as the Democrats try to figure out how this process is going to look. What looks like is real is that Chicago is going to be something that we haven't seen probably since 1968. And they say it's not going to be chaotic, John, but it's certain.
August 19. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, 1968, they had the DNC in Chicago and people rioted. They had to shut it down.
This is August. Yeah. So this year it's in August 19th through August 22nd.
They said that about 1968 as well. They had to put grease on the statue of General Grant so that people stopped climbing up it. I mean, Chicago 1968 was a disaster. Very dynamic inside the convention hall. I remember an old colleague of mine, Dan Rather, getting hauled away and famously saying, "Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me unless you're going to arrest me." So it got very dynamic in there. But the historic parallels are really quite something here. You've got, first of all, the city. You've also got the fact that the Democratic nominee has dropped out. It's going to be some sort of open convention. And then you've
look at Biden, like everyone else is dancing and Biden's like a fucking, like he's dipped in concrete or something.
Is that Obama in the dress over there?
Yes.
All of these protesters that are planning on turning out.
That's Kamala's husband right next to her.
At the Democratic convention.
You know, she used to date Montel Williams. Yeah.
Protesters who never showed up at the RNC, but they're targeting the DNC. I mean, this could be chaotic.
And really up in the air, depending on who they...
He just looks lost. He's probably not, but he just looks so lost. And his arms are stuck with it, like his elbows bent.
Yeah, people are saying that's early onset Parkinson's disease. I wonder if he's just keeping an eye out for corn pop.
Choose.
That's corn pop right behind him.
If it is Kamala Harris, remember the other thing about the vice president is that they're going to come after Kamala Harris saying she knew all along what the real situation.
Oh yeah, that's what they're doing now. They're like, oh, the Democrats knew Biden was like this years ago. They just hid it, and they were going to try to hide it until
weekend at Biden's.
Yeah.
Was behind the scenes, how diminished perhaps President Biden was or was getting. And that'll be part of the attack against the vice president. I think that, who if she becomes the nominee, chooses as a running mate, and how that process goes will also affect the protests. But you're right. The Gaza-Israel protests are real. It's not ending. And this comes on a week when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaks to Congress.
Netanyahu?
He'll be here in Washington, D.C. It's a confluence of all of these things all at once. By the way, President Biden was scheduled to give an address at the LBJ Library in Austin, Texas, this week. It was supposed to mark the civil rights inaction of the civil
Biden's not doing too well from the COVIDs.
rights law and the anniversary of that. Pretty ironic that LBJ stepping down from this.
LBJ was the last president to not run for re-election.
It was nomination 56 years ago, they said.
Yeah.
And all that's happened in the past few hours.
So Chad Pergram made the point a moment ago that the Republicans may launch an investigation into who knew about
hairy legs and the kids used to play with my hair. And the pool guy gave me a length of chain to confront corn pop with.
A rusty razor blade.
Weird. That right there should have meant he was unsuitable to be president, that he would say that in public.
President Biden's
so weird.
And
hey, all you little black kids, gather round. Let me tell you a story.
Was it kept
You
from
wanna
the
rub my
American
leg
people?
hair?
So there's that, and then there's also the idea that if Joe Biden is not fit to run for re-election, can he continue as president?
I think that you're going to hear more and more of that from Republicans, particularly. I think that in a hot area of trouble zones around the world, that will be a...
Yeah, I noticed when they made the announcement that he had COVID, they were showing him leaving the place he was at to travel back to his home in Delaware. And they had to help him get into the car. Like you could see the Secret Service agents like give him like a boost to get him up into the car. And then when he got in the car, he put a mask on like immediately. But he wanted to not be seen with the mask on while he was out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that Biden ate ice cream today on National Ice Cream Day?
Depending on how he's feeling. If he's feeling better and he doesn't feel that sick, probably. I mean, if he has a sore throat, I guess that could be helpful, you know?
Yeah.
Major point, because enemies are looking at what we're doing.
Look how much trouble he has with the stairs.
And at some point, you're going to have to see physically from
Stairs
President
have
Biden.
always been his true nemesis.
You know, oh God, what's his name? Gerald Ford was known as like a clumsy president, and he fell down some stairs, and they used to have Chevy Chase play him on SNL back in the 70s, even though he looked nothing like him, and they'd have him like fall over. I guess Chevy Chase got some like neurological or injuries from doing that shit back in the day.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
They had the episode of The Simpsons where George H.W. Bush was the Simpsons neighbor, right? And they actually had him voice his character in the Simpsons. And then at the end, they had Gerald Ford move in, and they compared him to Homer Simpson because of how dopey they are.
Yeah.
He was just like jokingly like a copy of Homer. It was a pretty good gag.
Also, Gerald Ford played for Michigan, which is also he's definitely on my shit list.
I know he's fighting COVID and apparently has a cough and a sore throat and it doesn't sound good. But at some point, this monumental of a decision, we'll have to see the President of the United States in person.
Because, I mean, there's two things at play here. First of all, there's Joe Biden has been given polling. We know this because it was said by, and I can't remember her name now, from California, said last week, I understand that you've been given polling that shows that you're not going to be able to win this race. So there's that aspect of it, that he's been shown polls apparently that say you're going to lose to President Trump. But then the cognitive thing is the other side of this. And the White House has been doing its best to poo-poo that and tell anybody who's
to poo-poo that,
asking those questions.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So they're going to cook up something at the convention. They might throw Gretchen Whitmer at you. They might throw Gavin Newsom at you. They might.
This was recorded before today, but he interviewed these guys. I think this interview is going to premiere tonight at 8 Eastern, which it's already out there.
Might throw Michelle Obama at you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about any of them. Look, they have bad policies. Forget about the people. They have an open border policy. They have a high tax policy. They have a bad military policy.
They have a high tax
policy. The whole world
policy.
is going woke. Their world is going woke. The Green New Scam, we're spending all our money on things that don't work. The whole thing is a mess. Our country, if we don't win this election, we may never have another election. I'm telling you, this.
I mean, that's so funny because it's actually the opposite.
Maybe our last election.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
If we don't win this election, we may never have another election.
I watched a video that summarized Project 2025, and one of the things they want to do is they want to consider like rideshare apps as public transportation, like to like redefine what public transportation is.
Interesting.
It's really weird. It's very strange.
Dana, I believe we're gonna bring in Harris Faulkner now. She's joining us by phone. Harrison, part of the puzzle has been getting all these statements from all the Democrats right now, including one from New Mexico, Senator Heinrich, on Biden getting out of the race, but not endorsing
Martin Heinrich. I think he's New Mexico
Kamala Harris.
Senators.
Right? And then apparently Eric Swalwell just gave an interview. He is endorsing Kamala Harris. So everybody's going on the record in some form. Welcome to the coverage, Harris.
Oh, thank you. And I feel blessed to join the conversation with you and Dana and John. I have a lot of thoughts about what Dana was just mentioning.
Harris Faulkner.
And that is, how do you keep sort of, and I'm going to umbrella it now with what she said, how do you keep people together in the Democratic Party? I don't think you do.
Name, I guess.
And I don't think it...
Oh, okay. I recognize her. I didn't recognize her voice, but yeah, she's a Fox News contributor. That's Harris Faulkner.
Breaks down to who's their favorite at this point. I think it breaks down to who they believe will win. They just want to keep power. And the fact that the Obamas came out and did not endorse,
I love
the
it.
first black president did not.
Yeah, I mean, when you run for president, you want to keep power. That's why Trump was like, "I won by a lot."
The Democrats just want to keep power. Yes, they do. That's how it's always been.
Endorse what could have been the first black Asian president. That they didn't flex on that point, full well knowing how much they need the black vote, just like they did in 2020 as Democrats. They backed away from the opportunity for them to do that, to make it all about race, and of course divide the country even more. But they have.
Wow. She's going hard. They had the opportunity to divide the country more, just go by race.
Not shied away from being able to do that before, so why stop now? I think that's a really critical point. Like, what are they holding? What are they holding that we can't see? What candidate out there can literally just walk over Kamala as she lays on the ground waiting? Are they going to pick me? Are they going to pick me? And just kind of look back and go, it ain't you. I mean, maybe it will turn out to be her.
Did she just call Kamala Harris a pick me?
I think so.
Can't give a full-throated support and endorsement on this day that we are seeing history be made.
I mean, she doesn't. I like how Harris Faulkner is saying this, and the irony is not lost on her as to why she was hired by Fox News.
Ooh.
When they were like, "Oh, you got too many blonde white women on Fox News."
They did have a blonde white women thing until that. I can't remember. I can never remember the guy's name until he got ousted.
Roger Ailes.
Yeah, Roger Ailes and his blonde white women hiring and touching.
Bill O'Reilly got fired through that whole thing too.
Bill O'Reilly deserved to get fired because he confused a loofah with a, what was it, a shawarma or a falafel?
A falafel, but that happened way before he got fired. That happened like 10 years before he got fired.
After the attempted assassination of the candidate on the other side politically. If you can't do it today with 29 days until they have to make a decision on a nominee, doing it after the fact or close to that fact of the DNC convention really doesn't help. It's 107 days today until the actual election day. However, there are many states that vote as early as 50 days out from the election. That means that by the time the convention happens, you need to have convinced people during that convention. Convincing.
People
They've
who
got to
vote
do
that early are probably already convinced partisan-wise who they're voting for.
Sure. Early voting is such a great thing because it like gives people the opportunity to vote when they may not have the time on election day. It's especially when there's like long lines in places. It's such a good idea. Guess who doesn't want it? Republicans. Republicans want it to only be during business hours on a Tuesday in November. No weekend voting, no mail-in voting. And you got to show an ID. You got to show an ID.
But Ben, if voting is easy, everyone will do it.
Right. That's
And they're
they
going
want
in
less
every
people
direction.
doing
And I
it.
really don't think it's about who you like and who your favorites are.
When
because they've
less
never
people vote, the Republicans tend to win.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
supported her. When was the last time?
And they only tend to win when they get less overall votes. It's just they win certain states.
You heard anybody say, wow, she's really struggling with the border. Let me go help her out. Let me go down to the border with her. I'm sorry, crickets from the Clintons?
The last time I voted in Ohio, my polling location, because in Ohio they didn't have early voting, I had to go to the literal poll location on election day. It was in the lobby of a retirement home.
Oh wow.
So all the super old people that lived there, all they had to do was take the elevator down to the ground floor to vote. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many people will say, wow, she did such a great job on the border. She should become president because she'll be in charge of the border and national security. In terms of how we got here, Harris, our Paul Steinhauser just sent out this email. He said, a Democratic source who is very plugged into Biden's political orbit confirms to Fox that the president met last night in Rehoboth Beach with his inner circle of longtime political advisors. Among them were Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, who were up on Capitol Hill along with Jen O'Malley Dillon, trying to convince Democrats that he should stay in the race. Anita Dunn and Ron Klain.
All right. They also need to redesign the election sign. You know what I mean? Maybe change the color scheme. I don't know.
What colors would you go for?
Well, you know what? It's weird, but I gotta know who she's running with, because it's gonna be Harris and then the other person's name below it. And for some reason, I need to know the color before I can choose the color scheme. I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, but I can't really think. Because, oh man, hopefully it's someone that doesn't have a crazy amount of letters in their name, because then it's going to have to be all small on the bottom under Harris, or they might just put Kamala, because that's a way more recognizable name than just Harris. You know what I mean?
She goes the Zendaya route.
Yeah, I like Ike. Do you remember that? I like Ike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who took so much heat for the debate performance. So this thing was clearly cooked up last night. Apparently he was, according to other information, prepared to stick it out and then suddenly changed his mind.
Yeah, I was reading some of the latest NPR Marist polling that came out, and it didn't look...
Fox News, they always choose footage and photos where he looks confused. It looks like he's talking on an invisible telephone. Right?
Yeah, you think he actually has an invisible telephone in this picture? We have the technology.
Good for him is they started...
Yeah, it's called an earpiece, and you don't have to hold it to the side of your head.
And there were reports that the campaign was doing this. I don't know how much the White House was doing this, John. But we know, you and I reported last week, and you and Sandra and Dana as well, that they were poll testing Kamala against Biden.
And he's like, oh, I'm so old, it's painful.
And when you when you drill down on some of that polling, she just...
Here he looks sad. He looks like a sad clown.
That's the most fucked up picture they showed of him tonight.
Oh.
This is like Jeff Dunham's old man puppet.
Did barely a little better than Biden up against Trump. I mean, it's tight. Look at that NPR Marist poll, and look at what's written up by NPR. That tells me that...
Why even put this one in there? His hand is covering his entire face.
There were a lot of wranglings about, well, who else could it be? And until we can really point to other...
This is the best picture of him they've shown so far, and that's not saying much.
I wonder if they have somebody on the payroll to find the worst pictures of Biden.
Absolutely. You know what I'll do? If I usually if I make a thumbnail and it has Jared in it, I find the stupidest looking screen still of him, to use.
Is that hard?
Yeah. Not hard at all.
People and have a way forward. Let's not announce. And then all the pressure on Biden. And then the other numbers started coming out about how he's matching up now with Trump. We have not factored in the assassination attempt. We have not factored in what almost every candidate gets.
Okay, yes. And I think that's why they felt the need to make this move right now, because there was the assassination attempt that made Trump look badass. And then there was the convention right after that. And the convention was pretty huge, honestly. Like to me, there was a lot of corny shit that happened there, but to their base, that was like the Super Bowl. That was like a fest. That's like their like Bonnaroo or whatever. Like their.
He thinks the Bluetooth is like Uhura's earpiece. Listen, fat. We're boldly going where no man has gone before.
That's like their Coachella for like lame white people. It's like that.
It was a really good convention and a really bad WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah.
Host their convention, no matter which party they are. Can you imagine adding that up? And I will say it again. They had to do this today because you and I spoke last hour. Did you hear the thing that they kept saying at the convention where they don't want to tax tipped employees?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's interesting. I want to know all the details about it, and I would think Congress would have to pass that as a law. I don't know. Can he executive order that? And then my next question is, am I considered a tipped employee?
Yeah. Had to do this today to change the narrative for the Democratic Party. They are losing. He is a loser candidate.
That would include tips and like Uber drivers as well, right? Like,
I don't know. I need the details. They throw it out there. You know, like there's no law that they have to do what they say they're going to do. Like literally nothing. They don't even have to try. You know? So like they can say a bunch of stuff and not even say what their plan is to make it happen. Saying you're going to do it is way different than actually making it happen, because you know you're not you don't have like that much power to like just make that happen. I guess executive order, but I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can executive order. I don't know. Someone who is smarter on that kind of law than I am, you can let us know. You can comment in the chat and in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. I don't know. I don't know if that's something he can just like make happen, or if Congress is going to have to pass a law.
They have to change that narrative, not just because Donald Trump picks up, you know, a historic percentage.
Maybe we
of
could
the
make it be where every employee that works for tips can register as a church. So it now is church donations, and then they don't have to tax church donations, right?
Okay. You can't claim you're a church when you're like working at Olive Garden waiting tables. So I don't know. Where did that come from? Are you like,
because they don't tax the churches.
Yeah.
So if
churches,
we can make it
not,
so a human can register as a personal church.
They're not going to, that's so unnecessary. Like they would just, if they need to make a law that a person like a waitress at Applebee's can register as a church, they won't do that. They'll just be like, oh, you don't have to pay taxes. Like making it a church doesn't make any sense at all.
Vote and people of color, not just because of that, but also because of young people. There were a tremendous amount of young people at that convention that we just attended in Milwaukee, the RNC. And then you've got to go against
there was
the
a
United
tremendous
Party.
amount
Donald
of people
Trump
on
is in control
Grindr.
of his
Actually shut Grindr down.
Party. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in control of nothing. And the proof of that today is that he's out and she doesn't know where she's going, with a few people endorsing her baby.
What a remarkable moment this is, Harris. We will obviously see you for continuing coverage, and we'll see you for your show tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. here on the Fox News Channel.
Thank you, Harris.
Right.
And
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. Thank you, Harris. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey,
Let's see. Republican leaders react to Biden endorsing Harris.
And let's get back to our Local 10 News reporter Samir Nefsi, who is standing by Miami International Airport, where Florida Republican Congressman Carlos Jimenez just spoke to the media.
Samir, what did he have to say, especially in the wake of this bombshell announcement from President Biden?
Yeah, so we asked him point blank if he was surprised. In all honesty, he said no, he wasn't. He said there have, of course,
God, the difference between local news and national news is so striking.
Been some rumblings of this in the past. Of course, we know President Biden currently has COVID. He's been out of the spotlight for a little bit. But in reference to the actual announcement today, he said he was not surprised at all. Of course, we spoke with him here. He's heading up to Washington as we speak right now. But during this press conference, he called for Biden to resign earlier. So let's go ahead and kick out to some sound.
It's evident to the American people that the president, President Biden doesn't have the capability, doesn't have the ability to continue to serve as president. We've seen the decline.
Talking into multiple microphones is so cool.
I mean, each one of those microphones is from like a different news source. That's why they do that. Yeah.
It's seen it for well over a year. It's just getting progressively worse and worse. And it's unfortunate that their adversaries are seeing the same thing. And we can't have a president that is not at the top of his or her game.
All right, and we know GOP members across Florida have been speaking out following this announcement. We have one from Senator Rick Scott. You should be able to see that on your screen now. This is just a snippet of the statement he released this afternoon,
Rick Scott,
saying President Biden is not capable of serving now, let alone another 4-year term, writing in quote, "For 4 years, those closest to Joe Biden, including Kamala Harris, knew he was not fit to be president and lied to the American people in an effort to hold on to their power." Back out here live. And that's kind of a statement we have seen across GOP statements regarding President Biden's announcement that he will not seek re-election. Of course, we'll have much more from fellow GOP members coming up tonight at 10 and 11. Until then, we're live at MIA.
All right, let's see what this is.
Let's first go to our Tom Fitzgerald outside the White House tonight, where folks are expected to gather later this evening to give their thanks to President Biden. But Fitz,
thanks, President Biden, for dropping out.
Been on the phone with Democratic members of Congress already this evening. What are you hearing from them?
Thanks, Biden.
Well, by and large, there already seems to be a coalescing of Democrats behind the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Now, President Biden is not here at the White House. As you know, he's been sequestered at his beach house in Rehoboth Beach. We were told that the Vice President learned of this news shortly before the president sent out that letter announcing his decision to leave the race today. Already, Democrats are telling Fox 5 on the Hill that while they are not surprised by this decision, they were surprised by the timing, coming on a Sunday, coming in the form of the letter, and also coming without an address directly from the
coming
3 times.
President today. In his letter, the president said he would be speaking to the nation later on this week. Already here at the White House, many people who were visiting here either just learned this news from the news media itself or came down here with the specific intention to be at the White House on this most historic days in the nation's history, some 50 years plus since we have had a sitting vice president decide not to run for re-election. The last one was Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1968. By and large, folks told Fox 5 today that they were thankful for the fact that they say President Biden made this decision, but there was certain unease amongst folks about what the president's condition is right now and whether or not he should continue to serve in this office from this point forward. Here's a look at what some of the folks had to say.
Oh, my goodness. It's okay. He can go. He needs a break. That's my thought.
He needs a break.
Nap time. Let him go.
This isn't a break. A break implies that he gets to come back.
He can use a break. I don't blame him.
All I can do is say, may the best person win. May the best person win.
That's such a neutral. I don't. Okay.
I think
why even use that?
That's the right call.
Surprised?
No, not particularly. I think the writing was on the wall. But yeah, I think he's a great president. And
at first, I thought this wasn't likely very much. Like I said, like 10% because he was so insistent that he wasn't dropping out. But then day by day by day, it seemed more and more and more likely.
I think Kamala Harris would be great. What, number 47? Is that next? Yeah.
It is big news. It's a surprise. But all we can do is just pray. That's it.
What are you praying for?
Praying that our country is in good hands.
I think
of course,
we all
we were
pray
told
for a country in good hands.
That the president, for now, is saying in his letter that he will remain in office and focus his efforts over the next 4 months that are remaining in his term. However, there are big questions at this moment within the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris is not officially the Democratic nominee at this point. The Democratic convention is set to start in Chicago in just a couple of weeks. Already, there are also big questions about whether the Biden-Harris war chest would be easily transferable, and if it is, would Republicans go state by state in the courts challenging the transfer of those massive amounts of funds? There's a lot left to find out here, and we're only at the very beginning. Fox 5 Live at the White House tonight. We'll send it back into you.
Fitz, I know that you were talking
Republicans
to...
definitely would go state by state challenging that if they could. Like that's something the Republicans would totally fucking do.
Those members of Congress, and we have seen various endorsements coming down. Are you getting the sense right now the local delegations are not showing their cards at this point?
Privately, they are, Jim. We have not heard from one yet who did not say that they were going to be throwing their support behind the vice president. But, you know, the timing of this did create a bit of a split in some of the delegations. For example, just this morning on Fox 5's On the Hill, we had Democratic Congressman Glenn Ivey of Maryland expressing very strong support for Joe Biden staying in this race. Now, that comes on the heels of his fellow Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin just days ago saying very publicly the president should get out. It's expected now, with this decision finally made, that all sides of the Democratic spectrum will start to come together. Where they land right now is still a question, but the vice president at this point seems to be the axis on what this Democratic orbit is spinning around right now.
From On the Hill to outside the White House.
All right, we got Dana Perino.
Let's savor the moment, John. I mean, this is fascinating, historical. It does feel like it's moving very fast. I remember on the night of the debate 3.5 weeks ago now, I said this will accelerate the calls to get him out, that he would be out by July 30th. There were a few days within there that I wavered and thought, I'm going to be wrong. And then on Friday, when it sounded like it was ratcheting up, you know, when Nancy Pelosi decides that she wants to get something done, she'll do it gently at first, but she was about to ratchet up the pressure so much.
Ratchet.
It was inevitable that this was going to be the end. We just didn't know how it was going to come together. Something must have happened today in a conversation.
Yeah, what about him?
Michigan for Biden?
Yeah, he's in Michigan.
Conversation that Joe Biden had with Clyburn, because I don't know this for sure. This is my speculation. But Joe Biden, what we heard,
he pretty much needs to win Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Heard on Friday was that he was not.
Did you see the prophets that predicted Trump's assassination?
No.
There's like a YouTube video from 3 months ago, and there are these Christian prophets, and one of the prophets pretty clearly explained the moment where Trump was the attempted assassination on Trump. He explained Trump like getting shot in the ear, going down to his knees, finding God on his knees more than ever, and getting back up and winning the election. It was from like 3 months ago. And then he said there was a red wave in Michigan. That was part of his prophecy. It was very interesting. He called for a red wave, and it was a really descriptive prophetic moment from this weird YouTuber guy.
Politicians never lie.
Not inclined to endorse anyone.
They never lie.
Including Kamala Harris. So that changes today. So what changed over the last 48 hours? So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she can go ahead and say that. And she might be right, that there are a bunch of Democrats, perhaps from the moderate side of the party to the left-wing side of the party, who don't want her. They're going to have to explain why. And I think, Harris Faulkner, she was making some excellent points about all of this. I do think that I do want to say another thing, though, that I know that the Republicans are saying that all of these Democrats are now disenfranchised, the ones that voted for Biden.
They love this clip on Fox
primary.
News.
But if almost 80% of Democrats polled say they wanted another nominee, in the last 4 weeks, then I don't think they feel disenfranchised.
Come on, Joe, it's nap time.
I think that they're about to get energized. We've just heard that the money has started to flow back in. Remember, it got frozen 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden this afternoon, John, that money starts to pour back in. So we're in for some really interesting civics lessons indeed, but also some great politicking.
Biden would not survive being like a parachuter like that. It would not go well. This is the clip where they cropped it to make it look like Biden was like waving to nobody. But there's actually a guy that was like doing the same shit as this guy, and he was like giving him the thumbs up. But they deceptively cropped it and made it look like, because this is this was a celebration at Normandy. It was like the anniversary of the Normandy invasion, and there's a whole bunch of world leaders. You can see Trudeau, who's like the tallest person there, over on the left. Yeah. And there was like some paratrooper guy that parachuted in. A whole bunch of them did. So Biden was looking at a guy who's like off camera in this, but in the original video, you can see the guy Biden's looking at. So.
Fox News keeps reusing their Biden fail reel.
Yeah.
They used the same thing earlier.
Yeah, it's funny that they needed to like deceptively edit things to make Biden look all senile when he already does. Though it just kind of proves their dishonesty.
To our executive editorial producer, John Santucci. John, for months now, you have had this rematch between President Biden and former
blown out
President Donald Trump.
She won't pass the Trumpster Bob hair challenge.
All that now changing. How is the Trump campaign responding to this?
So the Trump campaign, we've already seen those initial statements, Rachel, of course, Donald Trump attacking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We know from our sources that the Trump team has been building a book to take on Kamala Harris, attack her for some of her past statements, and do everything they can to tie her to Joe Biden. Now, look, the Trump team is going to have to very quickly, Rachel, take the money and pivot to attack Kamala Harris. I can tell you from my sources, MAGA Inc., that's Make America Great Again Inc., that is a super PAC aligned with Donald Trump. They've already taken, Rachel, a $5 million ad buy for next week, and they are now turning that on Kamala Harris, an ad that they have already put across social media. And that buy, Rachel, going to target states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. Now, one source high up in the super PAC told me that they're not only going to take that buy, they're going to keep expanding it to other states, and telling me, quote, there's going to be tremendous chaos within the Democratic Party, and our job now is to seize on that. The source goes on to tell me, Rachel, that the whole goal of their efforts is going to say that Kamala Harris was in on the cover-up of Joe Biden's health and start attacking her and her record, adding that our job now is to start prosecuting the case against her, Rachel.
Notable because she obviously is a former prosecutor, something that Senator Heidi Heitkamp says she'll definitely use if she ends up facing off against former President Donald Trump on the debate stage, should she actually become the Democratic nominee. John Santucci, stay with us. Thank you, John Santucci, with that.
John Santucci, stay with us.
Let's see. Here's some more reactions.
Let's first go to our Tom Fitzgerald outside the White House tonight, where folks are expected to gather.
Hold on, here's another
one. We saw this.
And let's get back to our Local 10 News reporter, Samir Nefsi.
Saw this one
I want to turn now to a historian.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up.
Here we go. Up here. Are you the same guy, the same muscles? Look at that guy. Are you the same guy? Yes? No kidding. It's pretty good memory, right? Unlike somebody else that I happen to be running against.
Oh, snap.
You wouldn't. Come on up here. Get up here. I got to get this guy. This guy was central casting. Look at him. Look. Oh, I think he was standing on a box. That was the only thing. I said, come on up here. Don't hurt yourself. Can you get him up? I like this guy. He's a serious union guy, a United Auto Workers. You look at him get over there. It's okay. He does not carry guns. He's not. Come on up here. Look at him. Look at his shape he's in.
I'm glad to see this guy. I told you we're going to get 85 million of us out there to vote for him. So let's go home from this rally and do our part.
If he wins Michigan, he's pretty much got it in the bag. I guess we'll wait. We'll see what the polling numbers do now that someone else is going to be in there. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Look at the arms on him. I may have height, but his arms are definitely more powerful, huh? Look at that guy. No, last time I was
What an ass on that guy, huh?
Right.
Just leaving aside the talk about even 2024, I mean, you're still a young person. Could you foresee that someday in the future, perhaps, you being interested in running for president?
I don't foresee that.
Why not? I mean,
she polls really high, actually. If you look at her polling as the presumptive nominee, it's ridiculously high. It's pretty surprising.
Said you can only serve 4 more years as governor.
That's right, and I intend to serve 4 more years as governor and do the best job that I can and hand this state over to whomever succeeds me in an even stronger position than we are in today. The lure of Washington, D.C. has not been something that has ever drawn my interest or attention. What I love about state government is that we can do things right now and see the impact that it has in people's lives. That's why I love writing an annual education budget. That's why, I have always been drawn to state government work. It's close to the people. You can see results and you can get things done. And, it's very, I don't even know what to make of it when people, want to have that conversation, the national conversation. That's not one that I'm driving, though. I can tell you that.
Let's do this. Let's do a poll. I love doing polls, right? Like I do a poll. I do lots of
I do a poll. I do lots of polls. So if in the latest polling, because they included Whitmer in a poll. Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh god! All right, there we go. Whitmer is actually beating Trump in Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Not
She's
by
the
much.
President of Michigan.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. They probably will run Kamala. It looks like Kamala's pretty solidified, but not 100%.
Make America great again, or do you like America first, or do you like them both? I like them both, right? Let's do a poll on candidates, ready? So I'll go. We're going to do a poll on a few candidates. The press will like this because they won't have to pay for the poll. You do these crazy polls and they charge you $250. Look, there's Mr. Wall. This guy is the greatest guy. This guy. He must have a lot of money because he's at so many different rallies. And he was at the one that was the tough one, wasn't he? And that was something. You were right up in the front there.
His mic has like a buzz on it.
So that was something. We're going to do a poll, and it's going to be a very nice poll.
A very nice poll.
Who's your favorite candidate? Who would you like? Let's do it.
Is he doing this at his own rally with his the people that showed up for his rally?
Yeah.
This is some Blues Clues bullshit.
It is.
We know what the audience is going to say, Trump.
To run against, because you could say who's the best candidate. We're saying who would you like to. We'll start with Kamala Harris, and then we'll go to crooked Joe Biden, and then we could possibly discuss it here. So who would you like to most run against if you're us, if we want to win? Ready?
Oh, to run against?
Kamala Harris, crooked Joe Biden.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think we have to go too much further. Well, you have a terrible governor here who did a terrible job. I'd like to run against her, actually. So she's one of the 20 that I mentioned. She's the one that gave her husband full right, title, and interest to everything, but nobody else could do anything but her husband. Her husband was sailing in the middle of your lake. Your beautiful lake. He's out there sailing, and everybody else.
There's multiple lakes, like inland lakes in Michigan and then all the Great Lakes. He acts like there's just one lake. You beautiful lake.
Knows how to be locked up, right? No, but things like that are mentioned during a campaign, little things like that. No, she's done a terrible job, but I'd be very happy with her. At this very moment, Democrat Party bosses are frantically trying to overthrow the results of their own party's primaries to dump crooked Joe Biden from the ballot. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
And as you're seeing, the Democrat Party is not the party of democracy. They're really the enemies of democracy. The parties of corrupt insiders like Whitmer, special interests, and the failed political class. That's what they are. Under our leadership, the Republican Party is now the party of the people. We're the party of hardworking Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. We've become a very big party.
We've become a very big party. The Vance, J.D. Vance, the name Vance comes from the Old English word for swamp.
Interesting.
It's interesting that Trump is going to drain the swamp, but he literally brings the swamp on the ticket.
All right, guys, it finally happened. We got huge news. It's official. Joe Biden has dropped out of the 2024 presidential election. He's done with his campaign. He's stepping down. Now, he's not stepping down as president of...
Kyle Kalinske has almost like a boy band member aesthetic now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
like
an early 2000s boy band member.
Yeah, he looks like he could be a pro wrestling referee during the Monday Night Wars too.
United States. He's going to finish his term as president of the United States, but he is officially suspending his campaign and not running for re-election. So here, I'm going to read you the letter that he just sent out. Let's dive into it. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today.
Yeah, so I want to get his opinion. We already read this part. All right.
No longer running for re-election. The other big piece of news is he's fulfilling his term as president, so he's not also stepping down as president. Now, the other big piece of news, which did a little twisty on us in a second that I'll give to you, but the other big piece of news is, based on this initial letter, he did not endorse Kamala Harris. He did not say, this is my heir apparent, I want her to be the one. Let's not have an open convention. Let's not make it messy. Let's go right with Kamala Harris. So in this letter, he didn't say that. But then immediately after this letter was released, he kind of does come out and say that. So he tweets, my fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all of my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. So in other words, he's saying, I do want it to be Kamala. I do want her to be my heir apparent. I do want us to not have an open convention. I want to go in this direction. Now, look, going with Kamala has the benefit of all of the hundreds of millions of dollars that Biden has raised. That can just go directly to Kamala, right? There's no weird legal loopholes or anything like that. There's no hurdles. It's just she gets that money and everything's hunky-dory.
And that's what's really important, in all honesty, is like who has the money. Because no one else has been campaigning really for president besides Kennedy. He tried to run as a Democrat, and then what's her name? Oh God, the woman. What's her name?
Tulsi Gabbard.
No.
So there's
Tulsi Gabbard ran years ago.
Process reason why they would want to go in this direction. But having said that, it is possible to take those hundreds of millions of dollars that Biden has raised, and then you transfer them to a super PAC, and then you have an open convention, and it could be somebody not named Kamala Harris who wins, and then that money can be spent on that candidate in that way, right? So look, I think Biden was the weakest in terms of electoral chances against Trump, and all the polling shows that. I think Kamala is way better positioned than Biden, but I do also think she's the second weakest option. right? So ideally, at this point, I would like to see more of an open convention. I would like people like J.B. Pritzker and Josh Shapiro and Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom and all these people to throw their hat in the ring and to figure it out that way. I think the safest ticket you can get is a generic Democrat ticket where there's not much dirt on them. Trump doesn't have much he could throw at them, and they're just generic Democrats because all the polling shows that a generic Democrat is 6 points up on Trump in a general election. So I think that's the preferable path. With his initial letter, it looked like that's the direction he was going to go in. But then immediately after that, he tweets basically like, no, full support and endorsement for Kamala Harris. So they're trying to say it's going to be Kamala, it's going to be Kamala. So are we going to have a coronation? Maybe. It looks like maybe. I think there's still some hope for an open convention, but I also think it's very likely now that with Biden leading the way and saying Kamala, 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 you're going to have all the other Democrats fall in line and say Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. So, but again, I will say at the end of the day, I'm happy he's stepping down, man. His ego had gotten out of control. It was really, really unacceptable. He was putting himself not only above the party, but also above the country. He's not fit. He can't do it. He just can't. His brain's not there anymore. He's in cognitive decline. You have a lot of doctors who are saying, I can diagnose him with Parkinson's from across the mall.
He was saying that he was one of the people that's been on board with Biden dropping out for a while.
I would hope so, the way he's talking.
Still reporting about conversations between...
I think we already saw this. Let's see.
We're getting this reaction from J.D. Vance in. He writes on X, Joe Biden has been the worst president of my lifetime, and Kamala Harris has been right there with him every step of the way. Over the last 4 years, she co-signed Biden's open border and green scam policies that drove up the cost of housing and groceries. She owns all of these failures, and she lied for nearly 4 years about Biden's mental capacity, saddling a nation with a president who can't do the job. President Trump and I are ready to save America. Who's ever at the top of the Democratic ticket? Sandra, bring it on. He closes out.
Gosh, makes you wonder what a possible VP debate would look like with Vance and Kamala Harris. Fox News chief political analyst Britt Hume is joining us now. Britt, thank you very much for jumping in and joining the coverage. Your thoughts?
Glad to do it. Well, I think we're this was forecast, I think.
Britt Hume.
And when the history of this is written, people will look back to the debate and say that from that moment on, this was inevitable, that he had to get out. He stubbornly hung on for a while, but the pressure was enormous. The odds were against him. He is, after all, old and feeble. Surely even the people closest to him recognize that, and so here we are.
So the vice presidential debate is set for September the 25th, but we don't know who's going to be in it on the Democratic side at this point. What do you think about the idea that the torch gets passed to Kamala, or Democrats rising up and saying, whoa, whoa, whoa? Because Obama said this in a statement, along with his wife, Michelle Obama, said that we trust that the Democratic Party will execute a robust process that will lead to a very strong nominee. They didn't say we back Kamala Harris. So do you think, Brett, that in the days ahead, we're going to see a lot of Democrats saying, wait a second, you might want to just pass the torch to Kamala Harris, but there's a lot of other people out there who might do better?
Well, it's possible that will happen, and a lot of Democrats may think that. But look at it this way: we don't. Who is going now to emerge and come out and say, "No, I don't want Kamala Harris to be the nominee. I'm running against her. I'm running against a woman."
I doubt anyone will do that at this point.
Who is the sitting vice president of the United States, who does, after all, have behind her the force of the votes that were for the Biden-Harris ticket. But
well, if Ted Kennedy were still around, he might do it.
Well, he might, but he's not, and RFK is around, and he's not a factor in this. So RFK Jr. I think it's.
I've seen a few RFK election campaign signs in my neighborhood. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I saw one that was spray painted. Someone spray painted an X over it.
He's got some people behind him.
Some.
Has he brought out a vice presidential candidate yet?
No, he hasn't. He did a press conference, though. I have it.
It would be awesome if he had Kevin Spacey run as his vice president, but Kevin Spacey ran as Frank Underwood.
Question: who will step forward to challenge her? And of course, if someone does, then it's Katie Bar the door, because on paper, at least, John, I think we all can agree that the nomination now is in the hands of a cadre of thousands of delegates, chosen to support Joe Biden. That's why they're in it. They're Biden delegates. He's endorsed her. Are they going to go against the candidate that he endorsed? Maybe, but it seems to me that she really does have a leg up here, and I think an awful lot of potential candidates will shy away because of that.
Britt, you have to wonder what the phone calls and the meetings and the gatherings are. You got to wonder. I mean, there's been big questions leading up to this decision and this announcement from the president. You know, who is in charge and who is in his inner circle, and those that are outside of it, what are they going to do? You know, you've got the president endorsing Kamala Harris very publicly in this statement. And as we were just noting, some of these governors who are now responding, who hadn't initially called for him to drop out of the race, they're stepping in to talk about Biden's legacy without even, endorsing Kamala Harris. So, I mean, the next few days, next hours, I should say, you can only imagine the conversations that are being had.
Here's some of RFK's thing because he did like a live stream, like he's in his backyard. Actually, this is RFK to announce that he is now a woman.
Oh, snap. It's so brave.
Where is he?
A little bit.
I don't know why they had to live stream the setup, but whatever. Oh, here we go. His voice is so irritating. I like how there's a volleyball net.
Is that Cheryl Hines that came out with him?
Stephanie, ready?
The RFK press conference was hours after Biden pulled out and Robert talked like Biden was still in. Also, his voice sounds like a tape recorder with batteries about to die.
Yeah, he's married to Larry David's wife from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, yeah. Yeah, Larry David is good friends with him.
Oh, yeah?
Stephanie, ready?
He sounds like he's about to cry all the time.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I want to begin by commending President Biden for a career in public service.
I wouldn't be able to take him seriously with this kind of voice.
For a long, long career and representing and serving our country, and for his handling of the many difficulties and challenges, personal challenges and tragedies that he suffered during his life with so much admirable conduct and the empathy that he derived from those experiences, that he was always proficient at showing to the rest of us. I want to add that a little over a year ago, when I entered this race, I predicted that President Biden suffered from a degenerative condition that was not going to improve, and that it would make it impossible for him to govern effectively. The reaction of the DNC to that
I want to hear what he sounds like talking into a fan. Like, would it make his voice sound normal?
I think it's cool, though. He's obviously got a disability and, can still be a speaker like this.
His condition was to hide it from the American public and to use their power over the Democratic Party nomination process to make sure that nobody could compete with President Biden in a way that would expose his deficiencies. And as a result, we are where we are today, which is in a period of crisis. And we have two crises, and they both derive from the same condition. And that condition is the emergence of the domination of corporate power over American democracy that accelerated beginning in 2010 with the Citizens United case that unleashed a tsunami of corporate money into the American political process. And both parties are now captured by that corporate money. And they've lost any kind of authentic connection to the American people or to the populist goals of the Republic and of democracy. On the Republican side, President Biden promised the last time around that he was going to drain the swamp. But instead, he came in and he appointed a pharmaceutical lobbyist and CEO to run HHS.
He did not drain the swamp.
Biden lobbyists to run.
I wonder if he'll play the spoiler in a few states, because there are a few states where he's polling like 10% of the vote.
Yeah, did you see the call between him and Trump recently that leaked?
Yes, where they're planning on working together.
The FCC, a Goldman Sachs CEO to run the Treasury Department, an oil lobbyist to run the Interior Department, a coal lobbyist to run the Environmental Protection Agency, and so on.
When Trump appointed all these people into those positions, that's when I knew Trump was not going to be that president. Because I was like, maybe Trump, he has this history where he's been kind of like both sides independent. Maybe he'll come in and he'll appoint some people and he'll do some good. And then it was like, nope, he just solidified that he don't give a fuck.
Yeah. When he hired Linda McMahon, I knew like right away. I was like, oh God, like he's doing favors for his buddies.
She's at least like more of a safe appointment as far as like the money and stuff where she comes from. That was more like a way of saying thank you for supporting me like privately. But the McMahon company is not this huge money pit that can influence things beyond, giving Trump what he needed to get elected. They did donate a lot to his campaign, but like when you go into these huge companies, these pharmaceutical and all the other pockets, it's like, holy shit, he is not draining anything.
And only today, President Trump has announced that in his new administration, should he win this election, that Jamie Dimon will be his choice as Commerce Secretary, and that Larry Fink.
Oh, he almost said Larry Flint.
Hot.
Who is no longer alive, so.
I'm a hustler, baby.
I want to go back to Ryan Nobles just briefly here, because Ryan, part of this moving forward, as Monica laid out, is does Kamala Harris in fact end up taking the top of the ticket? If she does, who ends up as her running mate? And if she does not, who else could be in the mix? And there is a slew of names that have been widely speculated about ever since the pressure started to build after that first presidential debate at the end of June. We're talking about people like Gavin Newsom, like Gretchen Whitmer, like Josh Shapiro, like Andy Beshear, like Mark Kelly. Talk us through some of what you've heard and the response from these folks, because many of them are out with statements just late today. Very few of them are coming out with a full-throated endorsement of Kamala Harris just yet. As
Democratic contenders. Yeah, I don't think
keep using the term full-throated. Buttigieg is in there.
Yeah, I don't know about Buttigieg. Some of these guys I hadn't heard of before they were in this conversation. Maybe just because they're like, I've never lived in Illinois, so I don't know the governor of Illinois' name.
She said Mark Kelly. She brought up Mark Kelly when she was talking about potential contenders, but he's not pictured here, right?
Not here. Yeah.
I'm Googling Mark Kelly right now because I don't know who he is.
Going to look here at those potential Democratic contenders, Ryan.
He's a former astronaut.
To your point, Hallie, the one person on that
from Arizona.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
List that you mentioned, I believe you mentioned him, was Mark Kelly, who is a potential running mate for Kamala Harris and comes from.
Okay. He is Gabby Gifford's husband, and Gabby Giffords was that congresswoman that got shot in the head and survived.
Yeah.
Several years ago.
Swing state.
He's got an interesting look. He's a bald man.
Yeah.
Arizona. He obviously has a very compelling life story as a former astronaut, the husband of Gabby Giffords, who was nearly murdered in an assassination attempt when she was a member of Congress, now represents the state of Arizona. He is out with a full-throated endorsement of Kamala Harris. He says that she is the right person.
Yeah, I don't get
keep
that.
Using full-throated.
I've never heard that term before today. It sounds like the name of like a 1970s porn film.
I'm telling you, dude, now that we have a woman running again, they're starting to pull out the porn references. They know what they're doing. They're doing this on purpose.
To defeat
Media
Donald
is sexist.
Trump and lead our country into the future, and that she has his support for the nomination. So Mark Kelly's a potential name on that list. You mentioned others. I think
Biden having his Marilyn Monroe moment here where it's like blowing up his suit jacket.
A strong
Which is
possibility.
crazy because his dick is also flaccid and getting blown up by the wind.
It could be Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina. North Carolina is a state that Barack Obama was able to win twice, but Donald Trump has gone on to win twice. It's a state that Democrats would love to put in play during this potential presidential election, especially if they start to bleed a little bit with that northern blue wall, the kind of Midwest Rust Belt wall, which Joe Biden was able to sweep last time around. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, is on that short list of someone that could not only potentially be a running mate, but also could potentially be at the top of the ticket if the process is open. That's certainly a name that people would point to. I think Andy Beshear in Kentucky, who is a moderate Democrat.
We're on board.
Comes from what is a ruby red state, would be at least a compelling story, right? To have somebody.
Yeah, that is a good point. Bringing somebody who is from a red state that has a big name, that is Southern, might be a good call for Kamala Harris to bring in that Southern vote and maybe see about turning a state or two down there.
Georgia would be the most likely one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few of them. Like Michigan is trending red, okay? But the governor of Michigan is a Democrat, so her as a running mate, Gretchen Whitmer, could help Michigan. They need to turn Michigan around. Like if you just go by the polling right now, Trump wins. You know, like if the only states that are really up for grabs are Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and then there's like a district in Nebraska, because Nebraska splits up their votes. Maine and Nebraska split up their votes, where most states are winner take all. So, but every vote's going to count in this. So, and it's just whoever gets 270.
Do you think that they, like Georgia or Florida, could likely go blue, or do you think that they're pretty locked in with their pink?
I don't think they're locked in because that's what the pink means, is that it's close, but like the polling is trending towards that direction. Which, when you think about it, it's crazy that Colorado and New Mexico, which have gone blue, like in the last several, are now light blue. Oregon, look at Oregon is like, Oregon though has that huge population that they're not huge, but they're significant in Eastern Oregon that want to defect and become part of Idaho.
Yeah. I wonder like how many counties in Florida it would take to flip from pink. You think 2 in the pink might flip Florida? Are you turning the color there?
Yes, I am, because you
can.
I'm like, the map is interactive.
What's going down?
The map is interactive, so you can kind of go through different scenarios. I don't think I'm not sure what the polling out of Pennsylvania is, but so let's assume Biden wins all of these. He still doesn't win. See, like even with all of these turning blue, he would have to win Michigan or Georgia.
Yeah.
So
we need some Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so now I'm still in the mindset that it's Biden running, but now that we know it's got to be Kamala, we'll see how I'm thinking it's going to be Kamala more than likely. That's who you would go with right now, right? Like nobody's announced anybody else. Nobody else is announced. Kamala has basically announced. They'd have to announce it really soon.
Yeah, the DNC is the 19th, right? So there's about 1 month, and you would want to get your shit together this week. I think you would want to come out like maybe Tuesday this week if you were going to challenge Kamala.
from the middle of the country, represents a lot of working class white voters in particular. That's an area where Democrats have seen their numbers bleed quite a bit. He would also be someone that would be a great compliment to Kamala Harris, and also somebody who is young. And it's interesting, Hallie, how just in the last 3 hours, the conversation of this race has flipped completely upside down. Democrats were trying to convince the country for quite a while that an 81-year-old man was fully capable of still running this country. Now they find themselves running against a nominee who pretty much under any circumstance with any of these names that have been floated as a possible nominee will be much.
Biden was a good choice to float against Trump before Trump looked like actual God surviving the assassination attempt. Like, Biden's never going to be that effervescent. He's never going to get clipped in the ear, then jump up and scream fight immediately afterwards.
I think Trump was going to win even if that didn't happen.
Yeah, but they at least were a little more like even at that point.
I don't
Trump
think so.
The press off of that
I think the
assassination
debate
attempt
was
just
enough.
ridiculous.
I think the debate was enough, and then the assassination attempt just made it go even further. What?
And we are back on WGN TV Political Report. Once again, coming to you live this Sunday afternoon.
Actually, I don't want to. Let's check this.
Also tonight, New Hampshire's political leaders are reacting to the president's decision to drop out of the
People
race.
Who say that Biden was a shit choice in 2020, like he won. And if we rigged the election in 2020, then Kamala will get it again in 2024. Why would we stop rigging?
Fleming is here with what they are saying, Amani.
Well, Marissa, Jen, overall, we are seeing New Hampshire's delegation come out in full support of President Biden's decision, with some already endorsing Vice President Harris as the next Democratic nominee. Senator Jeanne Shaheen praising the president's accomplishments throughout his term, saying in part, President Biden should be proud of the progress America has made under his leadership, as he always...
This person's probably a delegate, like... a lot of these people are delegates for the party.
President Biden is once again
the
putting
name
the country
Jeanne Shaheen goes hard.
He loves first, and I thank him for his unwavering dedication and service to our nation. And we're also hearing from Senator Hassan tonight, saying in part, on a personal level, President Biden has the extraordinary ability to envision and implement necessary and complicated change, carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, and still remember the individual hopes and struggles of people he met and worked with. Representative Annie Custer, echoing that, while also expressing
Mohammed Hassan,
her support for Vice President Harris as the nominee, saying, I proudly endorse Vice President Kamala Harris to lead Democrats in this fight to defend our personal freedoms and reproductive rights, to protect our democracy.
Yeah, like all of these people, the two senators in New Hampshire, the one of the representatives, probably the governor, are probably a few of that state's delegates that'll get to decide officially who the nominee is. Yeah, it's usually like Inslee is a delegate in Washington,
And defeat Donald Trump.
I think the Democratic nominee for governor this cycle is called Mullet.
Mark Mullet is one of them, and I've seen some of his "It's Mullet Time" signs around, and they're pretty great. He's not one of the favored ones, though. It's these two other guys, because there's two Republicans and two Democrats, and they're going to have a primary next month, and then the whoever's left over. We'll see what actually happens.
And his extreme MAGA
So what you're telling me is it might, in fact, not be mullet time?
It's probably not.
Crap.
This coming fall. And Representative Chris Pappas saying he agrees with the president's decision tonight, and adding in part, the stakes in this election could not be higher, and this moment requires us to be forward-looking and put the needs of everyday Americans front and center. And tonight we did ask every member of the congressional delegation to do interviews with us, but all of their...
Yeah, I just looked at some of the polling, and they don't poll as much as they do for, for like national elections, but
they
don't even have Mullet on here.
No, we got Ferguson and Reichert. Reichert has been a Republican shit stirrer for a while here in the Washington.
Yeah, he's doing good in some of the polls. I thought they were showing Mullet in some of the polls. The other two guys are pulling like 1 and 2%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I see mullet signs everywhere. Is this Ferguson guy? I've never heard of him before. Is this Turd Ferguson?
He's some local Democrat. I'm not sure who it is. Yeah, and I mean, that just goes to show you, like, how many signs you as one person happen to see is not indicative of, like, the actual polling numbers. Like, that just means they put up more signs in areas you go to. You know, like, the amount of signs one person happens to see doesn't say anything about who's actually ahead.
Yeah, because, like, if I was led to believe that Lake City Way by the Dicks was mullet time, if anybody was in near the Dicks on Lake City Way, they would think it was mullet time.
Offices told us.
Anything else? No, I think that's pretty good on the Biden stuff, and I guess we'll see how this unravels coming up here.
I just want to be, as we wrap this up, I want to be on the record saying Biden.
Let's. Nick Fuentes says he's not going to vote for Trump.
I'm not a Republican, and I don't care that much.
You don't care that much. You just run like a politically focused web show.
What the hell did he just say?
And I'm not going to turn out. Illinois is a blue state anyway, and I don't even really care. I'm not energetic. I'm not enthusiastic. I don't like to leave the house to begin with. I'm not leaving my house to vote. Vote for what? For J.D. Vance and Usha? I'm not voting for this. I'm not lending my credibility to this.
He doesn't want to vote for Usha.
Well, he's, he doesn't like the mixing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
As a real conservative, as a real right-wing American.
You're the real American?
You could not force me to care about this. You could not bribe me.
Then why are you streaming and watching it?
To care. I don't care. I don't even want to look at it anymore.
To be fair, while watching it, he is saying he doesn't care about it.
Yeah. Time to retire, Nick.
What if the whole next 4 years, Nick just watched Catboy content on his streams?
He can watch classic Scott Henson wrestling matches.
Man, how great would it be if we found out that Nick Fuentes has jerked off to one of Scott's matches?
There's 2 Catboys in most of those matches, so
ain't bad.
Yeah. Let's check out. You know what? I guess we should, cleanse our palates and check out what's going on in Cobra World.
Oh, snap. I heard he made new food.
By the way, please like the stream. Also, help us out. Send us a couple bucks. Help us meet our goal. We're so close. They've got to stand up strong. Face the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. $53. We just need $53. Oh, there we go.
Stand up.
Someone said they appreciated your Norm Macdonald reference.
Hell yeah, random guy. Cheers. I did it for you.
All right, here it is. He's back. He did a live stream a couple days ago.
Oh, he's got the Mountain Dew voltage, baby.
Back at it with another video. I got 2 new t-shirts available on Customized Girl. I'm working on a wand. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday afternoon. I got the new Monster flavor. This is the Monster Rio Punch. Really tasty with Guinness Extra Stout.
Oh, God.
I'm a little scruffy. I need to shave. It tastes like orange creamsicle with like a burst of tropical flavor.
A burst of tropical flavor.
So this Rio flavor ain't half bad. So now you gotta subscribe to my channel to comment dumb shits. Get blocked. And you can book me on Cameo. I do shit.
Oh, no. Cobra's actually also going to have to step down as president.
Excuse me.
He's president of his trailer.
If you're going to talk shit on Ozzy Osbourne, you're going to get blocked from my channel.
Yeah, for real. Do not do that.
I will go live when I feel like it. How about you appreciate the fact that I even still make videos? Nobody tells me when I can and can't go live. Can't and can't go live. Fuck off. Well, I'm in a relationship, Stephanie, but thank you for your $2. So the answer is no.
Damn.
Jessica's
Cobra.
not moving in with me, by the way.
Thank goodness.
More
I think
gender
Cobra is
relation
sick, or I think it's worse.
I don't know. There is like a COVID resurgence going on right now, but I don't think Cobra goes anywhere, so I think his chances of catching it are very low. Like all of his food is DoorDash to him and stuff.
Soon, and advice, yes, burrito, I can do that. Thank you for your $2. I agree with you. Jessica Messica does suck. And she's more obsessed with bullying me and Jessica than she is with taking care of her own goddamn kid.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
I wonder if Cobra thinks we suck now.
That's a Jessica talking point, talking about Jessica Messica's kids and shit. That's where Naked and Laughing goes every time.
Mad Session for your $2. Favorite Cradle of Filth album. I like all of their music, to be honest. Don't really have a favorite. What time is it in Casper right now? It is 12:31. Thank you, Horse Meat, for your $2.
Ice dance.
Did Puff?
No, I still haven't found Puff yet. I'm looking for him.
I'm looking for him. Come on,
I'm sipping
dude.
on a Rio Punch from Monster Energy Drink. Not a sponsor. Monster is my favorite energy
Can't believe he
company.
mixes
They're not
that
a
with
sponsor.
Guinness Stout.
Yeah, one of my YouTube buddies sent a bunch of these Delta 8 vape pens and cartridges to my P.O. box.
Did you send him some Delta 8, Ben?
No.
And Delta 8 is legal in Wyoming. It's not a need, DoorDash official. It's a want. And actually, I'm good on the alcohol for the moment. And you're not even the real DoorDash, so I'm going to have to hide you from the
Circle
chat.
of protection on Cobbs and Ben and Billy to not catch the redux of Cobbs vid. Mote it be.
Cobbs.
Love you, sweet boys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Random. I don't want to get Cobb's vid.
It
I'd
said
rather just
Cobb's
watch
vid.
Cobra's vids.
Must need money. You're hilarious. Money is not a need, it's a want. Like I can go live.
We don't need
I wanna
money
hang out
either.
with my fans
We want
and entertain y'all and do maybe a drink review from Monster. But y'all giving me money is just a bonus. All of this money I make from the live stream will probably go on to my Google AdSense, hopefully. Troy, thank you for your 99 cents. Trim that catfish, boy. You're just mad because you can't grow a stash, you little beta bitch.
Boy. Yeah,
See,
I am kind of mad. I can't grow a beard as good as King Cobra's.
Subscriber only mode, so now you gotta subscribe to my channel just to talk shit.
Your door is open. That was an old one when you could see his door behind him in the background.
Yeah.
And then I got it on set for like 5 minutes between comments. Yes, I will take my girlfriend out when I can. When is Jessica coming to visit me? That's none of your damn business. I'm not saying shit about it on fucking YouTube. Just so y'all can fucking harass her and try to get her flight canceled. Bullshit. You spent the last 6 years ripping on me for not having a girlfriend and making fun of me for anything you could think of. And then when I finally got a girlfriend, you can't fucking stop it. Stop making fun of her. Donating is an option. It is greatly appreciated. I do not ask people to give me money. I don't. I see plenty of people who fucking sit here and beg for money all stream, and it's like, no. Travis, thank you for your $2.
Tooth update.
My teeth need to be worked on, that's all I know.
Huh.
Mead update. I had my last glass of the Skittles mead the other day, and it was exquisite.
Exquisite.
Yeah, Lois, a circle of protection around for Trump. Segue, we're going to talk about this because I'm so fucking tired of it. Like, I got bullied and picked on my entire life, and I still get bullied on YouTube. You don't fucking see me doing crap like that. An innocent American was lost. A firefighter died, shooting his family from the bullets.
Cobra, already more reasonable than Destiny.
But you got to admit, when Trump was like, keep fighting, I was like, yeah, I would have got up, YouTube. I would have lit a cigarette and been like, you missed, motherfucker. I'm your hucklebearer.
I'm the hucklebearer.
By the way, I wouldn't call that a miss, just not like a bullseye. You know, it was not a total miss. He did get hit. So I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't count an assassination as successful if
I didn't say it was successful.
To get up and fist pump.
I'm saying he didn't miss.
John Bender at the end of Breakfast Club.
I didn't say successful. I said he didn't miss.
Yeah, for your $2, you got banned for the trolling, bud. You don't like Biden, then don't vote for him. You don't like Trump, then don't vote for him. But you should still go out and vote because it's your American rights. And because the many brave men, women,
nice
and
bullseye,
fought for our freedoms to vote. There are countries out there who don't even have the right to vote. They're just stuck with the asshole that's in charge. You know, and it's like, how hard is it if you see some loner kid getting picked on in your local high school or college to stand up for him? You're like, leave him the fuck alone. Why don't you pick on someone your own size, you fucking asshole?
Well, every time I did that, people will say, Billy, why are you talking to yourself?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if you're one of those loner types, you got to learn to stand up for yourself. I don't take shit from my fucking YouTube trolls.
Alicia Rhodey. Oh my God, is that Josh Saunders? I shouldn't have rejected him.
True that.
For example, if my YouTube trolls text me, who gave you permission to go live? Nobody. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, the shooter, Timothy Crooks, he was definitely part Boglum.
He was very Boglum looking.
It's a very Boglum thing to do, is to try and assassinate a president and make him look stronger in the process.
For watching my videos. Well, nice glasses, 4 eyes. Yeah, well, having 4 eyes is better than 2. And all my trolls love to point out, like, Josh, your idol Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, is a member of the Church of England. And I'm like, I don't care. Ozzy could dye his fucking hair hot pink and I'd still support him. Fuck off. Leave him alone. Leave me alone. How about that? And, like, if you're being bullied in school, man, fuck these losers. When you get out of high school,
Null is super bully.
You got potential to do great things with your life.
She is kind of.
Great things with your life. Look at me. I got bullied and picked on and rejected by every chick I liked growing up. And bullied by my fellow classmates. And yet, I still pull chicks.
And he doesn't bring this up now, but it's been confirmed. He bullied people, too. He was a bully also.
A girlfriend. And I became a famous YouTuber with 100K plus subscribers. You don't know what life has in store.
Yeah.
I don't have any alcohol at the moment. I really don't care. I got a Monster, though, and it's pretty delicious. Now, if I was president of the United States of America, my campaign slogan would be Make America Greater. Be like, this country is pretty badass, but there's always room for improvement. I would legalize all drugs and prostitution for 21 and up, both to receive it, to get it, and hand it out, etc. I'd regulate it so it'd be super safe. And then I would also
receive,
establish...
to get, and hand out prostitution. All three of those things would be legal.
Hides away. Big Diesel's voice thunders loud. Shadows keep him safe.
Whoa.
Yeah. On the next episode, I'll make sure everyone's promos get played.
Universal health care.
Egghead, I saw Egghead in the Discord today, and he said he was tired of living through history.
Isn't that what we all do?
He's specifically tired of living through history.
Don't we all just live through history? Like even if we don't want to. Matt Jarbo is about to stream. Want to see if he will let you guys jump? No.
Yeah. Let's just pause our fucking show to go jump in on a Matt Jarbo stream.
Yeah.
You know what? Zap, ask him, because we're not going to.
No. Well, I don't want to be on his stream. Not right now, especially.
Yeah, we're busy, motherfucker.
After doing all those other things that I mentioned, and then I would try to make peace with all the countries all around the world.
Oh, he makes it sound so easy.
And establish world peace. I would offer free school lunches for children, kindergarten, all the way up to senior year of high school.
I remember when I was going to run for president, I was going to go beyond free lunches for students. I was going to do free lunches for every American. Every day you get $10 to spend on lunch. It's the free lunch program, and everybody could go to a recommended local eatery and get $10 lunch paid for by the government.
I don't know when Jessica's coming to see me, but that's none of your damn business. The level of depravity that people can't handle that Cobra has a girlfriend. Drives me fucking nuts. I get bullied for hating sickos, and every chick I try to talk to fucking gets bullied off of being my friend. And it's like, you know what? That's your opinion.
I like how Cobra, did not change his jerk-off schedule even when she was there. And that's why she got all mad. He was having a jerk-off.
I mean, let a guy jerk
it.
He's a player for real. She knows what she's getting into. And he's the fucking superstar here. Let him jerk his little cock.
As president, I would fight for the middle class and the lower class and blue-collar, hard-working types. The people who give this country backbone. I'd fight for the people because it's power to the people.
Power to the people.
I am cisgendered and straight.
Bring the noise.
The thing of it is I do shower with tactical soap, and then I also will put a little bit on my clothes to enhance the scents. I kind of feel like you're trolling me with that, so I'm going to have to hide you from my channel.
Bye, troll.
Jessica's doing good. She's hanging in there. No, my birthday was not until March 26th. So I'm pretty much ignoring all the happy birthday comments because they want a reaction.
Happy birthday, Egghead.
Happy birthday, Egghead and King Cobra.
The only reason you hate Jessica is because you don't have a girlfriend.
I don't know.
I wish I didn't have a girlfriend so I could hate Jessica.
broke ass sexual chocolates. That is a hellaciously hilarious username. He did not pass away. Go fuck yourself. I guarantee you, if I Google it right now, he's still kicking.
That's what they're doing. God, Google's it every time.
People are fucking disgusting assholes.
He's about to prove you trolls wrong.
Ozzy Osbourne is still alive and kicking, so go fuck yourself.
Got you, trolls.
I don't need your membership on my YouTube channel badly enough. If you're gonna fucking talk shit on Ozzy Osbourne and then pay for a membership to my channel knowing I'm one of his biggest fans, go fuck yourself. I hope Ozzy's health gets better so he can safely move back to England. You know what? I don't need to be trolled.
I think he could move back to England if he really wanted to. I don't understand where that's coming from. Pretty sure.
It sucks that. Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he chooses to live in the States, but he probably still has a home in England. He can go there anytime he wants.
Yeah, it sucks he wasn't born in America because then he could take over for Joe Biden.
Yeah, that'd be better.
I make a subscriber-only comments, and it's like, you gotta subscribe to my channel just to talk shit. If you're gonna talk shit to Cobra, you don't gotta pay me money to do it. That's called donate to talk shit. That's not how bullying works. You people have a disconnect.
I don't think he gets to make the rules.
Krista Moss, go fuck yourself.
Dude,
I'm
random
not being
guy.
grumpy.
Don't
I'm
even
just
post that. I swear to God, I'm going to Google to see if Ozzy's still alive.
saying, y'all are dumb as fuck, dude.
$26 away from the goal. $26 tip train.
You don't understand how
Google
bullying
says
works.
Ozzy Osbourne is still alive, dude.
Damn. Get blocked.
It's like, if I hate certain people, I don't pay them money just to talk shit when I can do it for free. Like, thanks for your money, dude.
You haven't showered since moving, have you? I don't think he has.
Well,
This is the third
have a
shirt.
shower.
This is the third shirt. He has a shower. He has 2 bathrooms in this trailer.
Oh,
he has,
snap.
He has
Double
3
bathroom?
bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It's way bigger than the last 2 places he's lived.
What a king.
My next album is called Life Ain't Fair. And I did have the song in my iTunes list, but apparently it's not showing up. So I'm going to have to go into GarageBand and put it back in there. No big deal. I'll play a little bit of Life Ain't Fair's song. Let's see. Rock and Roll Never Die.
Yeah, it's interesting how Jessica will take like 10, 12-hour baths and showers, and Cobra can't take one in like 3 months. It's pretty great.
He's conserving water since his baby uses it all.
Oh, yeah. Here's one of the new tracks from his new album. Sounds like a heat stroke victim trying to log on to AOL. Because of the vocals, and then like the music in the background is making the like.
Birthday, sweet boy.
Oh,
Billy
thank you.
God, I hate that Nal shares the same name as me.
There you go.
Jess, bro,
You can go-
thank you very much for the birthday wishes.
You can go to Virginia and hang out with her. Let us know how that turns out.
Oh my God, Jess, bro, if you do that,
yeah,
I will actually stand you forever. I already stand you for now.
For now.
For now. I think it's cool that Josh is making Boglum spirituals.
There's all you're getting of that.
Okay.
You think it's so
That's all you
depressing?
get,
Why are you on my
trolls.
channel? Go get blocked.
Get blocked.
Like, oh my God, you guys, Cobra's live. Quick, everyone, let's all get up and talk shit on him. My father's not mad at me for getting evicted because it wasn't my fucking fault.
It wasn't
It
even
was the
Josh's
trolls' fault
fault.
for getting me evicted. They were harassing the conquistadors nonstop.
Damn.
I don't have a new P.O. box yet, but I will soon.
He does now.
You
I
think I'm
believe.
boring? Why do you watch? That's what I'd like to know. Because I don't have to be drunk to enjoy chat and hanging on stream. No, but you have to be drunk for us to enjoy it. Yeah, I want to ban you from my channel. Yeah, just so you can turn around and call me a fucking alcoholic as soon as I drink. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's
dude.
what they do. They put you in a double bind where if you drink, you're an alcoholic, but then they say, like, you're not worth watching unless you're drunk. Yes, you caught on to it.
They're mean people, King Cobra. They're bullying you.
Thank you all for watching the live. I'll catch you later. And thank you for your
Bye,
donations.
King Cobra.
King Cobra.
What a sweet boy.
I think Ruby Jules and King Cobra should collaborate on an album.
Ruby Jules.
Yeah. You remember this one? He has a pan flute.
Yeah. I typed in melancholy Asperger's daydream into one of those AI song makers, and this actually came out. Honest in his own way.
I want Cobra to do a verse, and then I want Ruby Jules to do a verse.
Manchurian Candidate triggering stuff, Agent Orange triggering stuff. This is honestly, Crooks probably watched this before he went to that rally. This is the equivalent of feeding a Boglum after midnight. Ready for the ya-ya-ba.
Ya-ya-ba. We should send Ruby Jules to go meet Naked and Laughing. How about that?
Dude, Ruby Jules would
knock her up,
croon his way into her heart.
Actually, I think he had a vasectomy. Remember when he was telling Egghead he should get a vasectomy?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we had the match between him and Egghead in Actual Mania, and it was like live, and they went head to head, and they were like fingering their own buttholes and everything?
I almost forgot, Ben. I almost forgot.
Well, you're welcome, sir. Mountain Dew, Doritos, not tipping on Chatterbait.
Which are actually the three best ingredients into a food hack. Honest in its own way. Really nasty fat fans should start an account right now called Boglum2988 and swing in and get all these boogie haters on their jock.
Lie about
Boogie's
having
off the internet right now.
Lie about having liver cancer. Yeah.
Lie about having like butthole cancer.
I do have I had this thing from Melanie Mack, how she was mad about Amber Rose at the RNC.
Lol. Why is she mad? Because she wasn't there? That's just hating.
No, because she's like a degenerate or whatever. So
I already lost some followers on X for saying this stuff, but I don't care. I'm prepared to lose some more on YouTube today because it is what it is, and I will speak truth.
But I digress.
And I don't care about the follower count.
Yeah, speak your truth.
Changes from it. So yesterday at the RNC, we saw not only a platformed prostitute, and yes, you can't say, oh, you're judging her past. No, she is an active prostitute, which I will dive more into this in the video with receipts. But they also had a demonic prayer, a prayer to a demon, prayed over the nation to a demon.
During the RNC?
But, oh yeah, we're going to get the votes now. We're going to save the country. Turn your back on God, and it doesn't matter who is president. We will not succeed. Let me go ahead and dive into the video.
This is an old thing that's been around forever where they're like, oh, if you piss off God, he's just going to go to a different country and take care of them.
I think it's kind of smart for the Republicans to go after the Satanist vote after they've locked up the Christian vote.
And actually show some stuff. So, yesterday we get the news of, okay, Vance is going to be the vice president. I was like, okay, who is this? I don't know that much. Well, then I do some research. I see, he's an anti-LGBTQ extremist. So I'm thinking, okay, this is good.
Is she going to say Vance is satanic because he plays Magic the Gathering cards?
I don't think so.
So far, so good, right? Because if it's one thing we learn in the Bible and just from seeing in our society in general, what happens when this LGBTQ ideology infests itself.
For those of you who don't know, we watched the movie that is based on J.D. Vance's memoir. It was a Ron Howard directed film. And
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, and his mom is just like a psycho throughout the whole. His mom is like the antagonist in the movie, basically, for most of it.
She do drugs.
Yeah, and beats him up and like all kinds of stuff.
In society crumbles. We see this time and time again. So this isn't a matter of just, oh, you're just judging people for doing what they want to do in their own privacy. It affects the whole entire world. And yes, I also do care that these people are losing their eternal soul to degeneracy.
Why don't you talk about how Grindr crashed because of the Republican National Convention and all the closet people there at their RNC that had to keep Grindr on in case they could sneak suck a penis at the event? Why don't you talk about that, Melanie Mack? Why are you kind of forgetting that one? It literally crashed Grindr. Has she talked about that? I would love to see her mention how the RNC was full of people on Grindr who were trying to sneak around and suck a penis while they hated the gays.
Don't want to see that. And I also don't want to see it poison society and ruin society, right? So then I'm like, okay, God bless America, feeling extra patriotic and stuff because, the events that happen in God saving Donald Trump and protecting Donald Trump over the weekend. I mean, we witnessed a miracle, right? So it was like, okay, I'm seeing, okay, a lot of people are seeing this. A lot of people are seeing the presence of God and the impact that God had saving Donald Trump's life. Okay,
why didn't God just like hit the shooter with a lightning bolt or something before he even got a chance to shoot it? Like, why did God make Trump get shot in the ear and like an innocent person got killed?
Yeah,
did God want that?
Works. Yeah, of course. It's never good enough for God just to save a life. He's got to take one too. There's a supreme balance. There's a divine balance that God has.
Here,
and
right?
Of course, God would choose a firefighter who has chosen to serve and risk his life for the health of others.
Yeah, in
God's
fires.
so smart.
maybe there's hope for the world. Well, then I see this. A prostitute platformed at the RNC. And people, but I want her vote, but I want her.
But to be fair, she's really a rapper's girlfriend. Multiple rappers' girlfriends, okay? Not a prostitute.
Oh, great. That would be awesome if we got her vote. But she could have easily just made some sort of Instagram video, or she can just vote. Why is she being platformed on the stage
to bring new eyes and potential voters to their party?
And because she's stacked.
She doesn't fit the mold, and that's why they wanted her there. Like, if they just bring in people that fit the mold, they're not going to bring any new eyes to their convention and to vote for their candidate.
And C, why is a prostitute being propped up at the stage? This is an abomination to...
I mean, didn't Trump pay like a porn star to keep her mouth shut about having sex with them? That's kind of like prostitution. I'm sure Trump has paid prostitutes before. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, I'm probably. But when you're that rich, you don't really have to pay directly, because it's assumed that you're going to take care of everything anyways.
He tried to pay what's her name after they hooked up. Oh, I can't remember her name right now. The brown-haired Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. That's her name. Karen McDougal.
God. She obviously, we pray that she will find Jesus and repent and turn from this, but this is an abomination to God. So how can you expect the nation to be blessed if you are propping up abominations to God? And I will add more to this in a minute. But also in her speech, okay, so she said Trump supporters don't care if people are gay or straight. Wrong. Many of us do care. We don't want to see anyone lose their souls to sexual immorality or poison our nation with abominations against God. Right? But that's not it. That's not all.
Moral sex is so boring.
She just uses the shield of religion to be a cunt and like justify it. That's really what she does. Like, she just decides, because you can claim you have the authority of God, so you're never wrong about anything, and that justifies acting like a total cunt. You know, like that's what she does.
She is a trashy human being.
Yeah,
and she loves that all her simps are trashy human beings that will stand in her way when she gets deplatformed or any flack comes her way. She has an army of little simps that support her and say, "Oh, don't worry, Melanie Mac. You're so smart. We're so proud of you for calling the F word." Was this her?
That's that's Trump and Karen McDougal. That's who I was talking about. Like, because she got interviewed around the time that like the Stormy Daniels stuff came out, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, I hooked up with Trump a bunch of times, and he offered to pay me he tried to give me money, and I turned it down."
She was like, "Nah, Trump."
But it sounded like she had like a real crush on him. Like, she actually liked him. Yeah. She was like Playmate of the Year back in the day and stuff.
Prayer to a demon.
Prayer to a demon? Is that what this is?
Listen to what she says.
Our one true God. Dear Waheguru, our one
Waheguru, whatever. Waheguru.
Dear Waheguru, our one true God.
She says it right there. Some people are like, "Oh, but she's talking about our God. She's talking about
which
the
God
real
is
God,
Waheguru?
The one true God." Waheguru? Are you retarded?
It's the Sikh term for God. So it's
Waheguru.
It's just another name for God in like another language. But it's not Abrahamic. I don't believe.
But does God have to be Abrahamic to be that God? Like, could everybody just have their own opinion of what the one true God is?
You'd think, but there are some that recognize what you just said, and then there are some that only recognize Abrahamic, like they believe like the Jewish and Christian and Muslim gods are all the same one, and then there are some that are like, no, when, you know, like I've heard a lot of Christians. I wouldn't be surprised if she has this opinion that like when they say Allah, that's not the same God as hers. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know.
Are you serious? Are you justifying a freaking demon?
I wonder why Melanie Mac is single at this age.
She's such a cunt.
Why does nobody love her?
She's such a cunt. Like, she's not ugly, so she probably could date someone. She's just like such a vicious cunt that no one would want to. You know?
I love how Wahi Guru translates to wow God.
Wonderful God, yeah. Yeah.
It's the wow God. Melanie Mac does not like the wow God.
It's not a demon.
Oh no, but she's talking about the people. How did people not boo her off the stage?
How did they not? One, they don't know
she
who
prayed
Wahi
to
Guru
a demon.
is.
And people are in the audience with their cowboy hats, some of them bowing their head and praying to it. What is going on? Read your Bibles, people.
Well, maybe as a religious person, you can also respect other people's religious ideals because you yourself want yours to be respected, and you don't want to come off as some egregious cunt.
Oh my God!
It makes other people hate your religion.
If they had it their way, we'd go back to the Dark Ages where it was like illegal to be a different religion. Like they would love it. Like people like her, they would love it if like if Christianity was just like the official religion of America, they'd be fine with that. Like,
yeah, that's so stupid. If I believed in God, I would definitely want people to have to make the choice to believe with me.
Of course, yeah.
I'd be like, man, I don't want you forced to believe, because if you're not a true believer, if it's not in your heart, I don't want you standing side by side with me.
Yeah.
If I believed in God, what I actually believe in is a lot worse than God.
How was this acceptable?
We thank you for creating America as a unique.
Wahi Guru created America. This is blasphemy.
That's not what she said. That is not what she just said. She did not say Wahi Guru created America.
Why don't you accept other religions? Why don't freedom of religion? She can pray to whatever demon she wants to in her own time, but she
can do it there too. Just as much as you have a right to do it, she can do it too.
Should not, as Americans, be.
See, she wants to like keep. It's so counterintuitive. If you want to grow your party and get your people into office and get the votes, you got to welcome in people who are different from you. You can't only welcome the people you like and approve of.
Yeah, it's especially stupid when you're the majority and you're like, no, sorry, this tiny little sect of people is too powerful to stand up to our Christian majority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes you look super weak.
Sikhs aren't even the majority religion in India. They're a way more obscure religion. It's just India's such a huge country with so many people. There are quite a few of them, you know, around the world. There's a Sikh running for Senate as a Republican in Washington. I can't remember his name right now, but I've seen his signs. He's not going to win because he's a Republican running in Washington, but he's running as a Republican. So there are Sikhs that are Republican, apparently. I mean, we're seeing it. So
standing for and applauding and supporting someone on a platform praying over the nation to a demon. She just
the way
cursed
she
our
says it
country
makes her look even stupider.
What she's doing is like any god that's not the real God is a demon. So if you worship any other god, it's a demon. That's the logic.
The way she's saying it, though, I have to tell, it's a demon. It makes her look like even more of a dumb person.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Stage, and you're supporting it?
Supporting it?
This is insane.
No.
Okay. So there's that. And then people, you know, they don't like it. They get mad at me because this, well, you're not going to reach the lost like this. You're not going to reach the lost like that. You can't just share things so harshly. You have to change it. And this is the thing is, if you are changing the word of God, to try to make people convert. You're just manipulating people into calling themselves Christians. You're not actually helping people to seek repentance. I said God didn't tell us to manipulate people into calling themselves Christians. Who gives a crap about that? If you call yourself a Christian but don't believe in the Bible, then you're not a Christian. He told us to share the gospel. If you have to sugarcoat, change, or omit any of it, you're doing it wrong. People with ears to hear the truth.
The Bible's already been edited. You don't have the original version of the Bible. You have a version of the Bible that somebody approved at some point.
Yeah, and she's not really sticking to any actual version of the Bible either.
There's so many different versions.
She's just pissing out her talking points and saying Bible, Bible, Bible behind it.
Yeah.
We'll hear it.
As far as her e-girl report card goes, she might have a couple of B's, but she's definitely getting a D- in English.
Be saved. Whether or not they do is not in our control. We share the message, but it is Christ who saves them, not us. How insulting to God it must be to hear people say you must filter his word because people won't hear it otherwise. God's word is sufficient. God's word is all powerful. So hearing the truth
Dude,
of
I can't
God's
imagine
word,
being somebody who listens to her and gets hyped up by this. Is like, hell yeah, you tell them, Melanie Mac.
Yeah.
And it's God who brings these people to repentance, who saw
starving children don't exist, amazing atheist.
Yeah, this is like G-Man, except she was speaking to a crowd full of people that can't find the G spot.
Why would you debate me, amazing atheist?
Softens their heart. It's not, oh, you did a really good job at convincing somebody. It's not by our own work. Share the truth in love, but love doesn't mean that you change it. Love doesn't mean that you validate sin or that you sugarcoat things. You telling people the truth, the harsh truth that they don't want to hear, that is love. Okay,
well,
so this is something called
love. Here's the harsh truth, love. The Republican National Convention is not a Christian meetup. You're lucky that the Christian group has put the Republicans in the place they are in America right now. But the Christian group is not even the driving force of the Republican Party right now. It's MAGA. You guys have been outbid by people who are ideologues for Donald Trump.
It's
That's
only
the truth.
It's only a type of Christian voter that would go Republican, like a few different types. You know,
well, they pumped.
Yeah, it's usually like evangelicals and Mormons that would vote, mostly Republican. There's plenty of like Catholics and Lutherans and stuff that would vote Democrat.
Yeah, they pumped really big into that Christian run though for George W. Bush.
Yeah, that's
that was part of the
evangelicals.
campaign plan.
Yeah, that's evangelicals.
They very much made that the driving force of the party for a while. That was what really put them over the top with George W.
Longman post he made, which I really liked. You can read it all if you want, but he says, those coping in the replies, America was founded as a Christian nation and should have Christian leaders. If you still believe in the separation of church and state garbage as a right-winger, you're not going to make it. That's the thing. This was to protect the faith. It wasn't to... if you... I just encourage you to just read all this. But anyway, if you call yourself a Christian and, we should celebrate or we should separate our politics from our faith, then you're not following the Bible. Read the Bible.
It is nice, though, that she's been able to separate intelligence from politics.
2 Kings, and you'll see God does not bless nations that turn their back on him. So it doesn't matter if Donald Trump can't save us. Only Jesus Christ can. Donald Trump has said this himself. Do I want Donald Trump to be our president? Absolutely. But to think that manipulating people through degeneracy to vote for Donald Trump and then all of a sudden he's going to fix everything, it don't work like that. If you blaspheme God, you blaspheme Jesus Christ, we will not be blessed.
Oh.
And they did just that, blasphemed God on stage. So again, I said, this is a sick joke. If the GOP doesn't turn their eyes on God and boldly oppose degeneracy.
I saw, you remember Spexo?
Yeah.
I saw Spexo on Twitter. He was replying to like Elon Musk or something. Elon Musk said something about like freedom of speech, like what types of speech should be banned or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And Spexo was like, only blasphemy. So, like, you should be able to do any other type of speech, even, like, threats and that kind of stuff. But blasphemy should, like, be illegal.
So stupid. It is illegal if you believe in God, you dumbass. I mean, you don't get in heaven if you blaspheme, you idiot.
I think
Why does it need to be law down here?
Right, he means, like, earthly law, like, blasphemy.
Yeah, which is stupid. Earthly law doesn't... If you actually believe in God...
In the Old
law
Testament...
on earth,
in the Old Testament, though, it did apply to earthly law. If you blasphemed God in, like, ancient Israel, you'd be stoned to death.
Dum-da-dum-dum.
So it is actually in the Bible. It is more... So, like, if you're actually consistent with biblical views, then you are a fucking wretched piece of shit, because you have to be to believe in a lot of...
slavery back then?
I mean, that's part of it, too. I mean, slavery, the Bible was used to justify slavery in America for a very long time because it was in the Bible and you can't argue with God.
Yeah. Then they're doomed and will deserve the consequences they brought on themselves. You don't beat the left by acting like them. Why this is such a hard concept for all the people mad in my replies to see is astounding.
Is it?
And then I said, people are mad when we say OF prostitutes shouldn't be speaking at the RNC. Sodom and Gomorrah.
So she's saying she's a prostitute because she's on OnlyFans, which is like, she's not actually fucking anybody like that pays for her OnlyFans. That's not happening.
That makes sense. And Melanie Mack's not a prostitute because she doesn't use OnlyFans. She uses her only brain cell.
All over again. Reprobates everywhere. Demonic prayer and active prostitute on stage. Conservative doesn't mean anything anymore. You aren't owning the libs. You became them. Oh, but we gotta win. But I care more about winning. You're not winning if you're becoming them, are you? So I said,
Joke's
God saved Trump's
We're all
life, and
voting
the
for Trump
RNC
because
blasphemed him
Trump is progressive now.
today. Lord, help us, which is exactly what happened. It's like I was feeling so white-pilled. Things were looking good. We're at a good trajectory. All right. This looks good. People are seeing, I've seen it all over my timeline. People are like, wow, okay. A lot of people have opened their eyes to, wow, God is real. Just after seeing what happened over the weekend. So to just take that
Why isn't she complaining about Hulk Hogan?
And to blaspheme God at the convention like that? That is a disgrace.
Hulk Hogan literally got fired from his job for saying the N-word in a sex tape while he was fucking his best friend Bubba's wife. Is that not degeneracy?
And then Bubba kept the video of it, and you know Bubba's a YouTube streamer now. It's ridiculous.
Oh wow, that makes sense.
He is. He still has Bubba. He still handles it like his radio show, and they like have all the different you know, he has like a whole crew of people and everything, and they all sit in the same room. But he can't handle getting trolled. Like he reacts to the chat like he gets trolled a lot. It's pretty funny.
Oh wow.
Guys, we can't win without a bigger tent.
And he always talks about the Hogan stuff. Him and Hogan are not friends anymore.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because more than likely, he claims it didn't have, he claims someone broke into his office and stole the recording, but it's like, why did you have it labeled what it was in your desk in your office? Like, why not just delete
it, right?
Why not delete the footage if you didn't want it to fall? Even if it was stolen from him, the fact that he kept it and like labeled what it was, I would say that alone. Hold on, I would say that alone, without the consent of having filmed it, is illegal in of itself.
Maybe it's illegal, but you don't just let a guy fuck your wife and not keep the cool cuck video that you can jerk it to. Like obviously he wanted to jerk it to his wife. Yeah, that's what you get for having cuck fantasies.
And he may have done it. He may have done it to profit off of it, but we don't know.
Which is likely as well.
Don't believe in the power of Christ if you think you have to counter his word by affirming and marketing to reprobates to win an election. Here's the thing, is people who support all of these abominations and prostitution, people are worshiping demons, all of that. You think this is going to sway their votes? Why would that sway their votes?
There's a recent video clip of Amber Rose sitting down and talking highly of Satanism. It's from like a few months ago. I'm surprised Melanie Mack hasn't found that and commented on it. That's a way better point for her little crybaby thing here. If she talked about that instead of just saying, hey, seek people, speak to demons.
Has their best interest, their belief system. It's like, oh, I'm going to sway my vote and vote for a left light. Makes no sense.
No, that's a
You're
fleshlight.
Just Diet Coke version of the left. Why? But we got to convince people. You know how you convince people to change? You show them that they were wrong.
You force them.
And I've been on both sides of the political spectrum. I grew up conservative, Christian. Then I went through a rebellious stage, turned from that, went more to the left. Rebelled against my faith. And what brought me back...
And I got old and realized that I wasn't going to make any money siding with the left. As a grifter, I had to turn right.
The conservative side, and to my faith, wasn't that, oh, they made it for a modern audience. They didn't Sweet Baby Ink it for me. They didn't make, oh, wait, this is fine. We're going to change this to accommodate you. No, I changed. I said, wait a minute, I was wrong. And I am moving to this other side.
So why not get off of YouTube? Because there's all this degeneracy and shit on YouTube. Why would you stay on a site that supports that and platforms that?
She's got to fight for God.
Oh.
Because I was wrong and I need change. That's how you... how are we going to convince other votes? You're going to show them the degeneracy of society and what accepting prostitution, but OnlyFans isn't prostitution. It is. So accepting and promoting and empowering.
Prostitution is illegal. So if OnlyFans was prostitution, it would get shut down. It's not.
Yeah, the only difference between what you're doing right now and OnlyFans is that you're convincing yourself that the weird guys watching you don't jerk off to you.
Prostitution, accepting, promoting, and empowering.
I'm pretty sure Jesus accepted prostitutes, right?
I mean, he kicked it with them, right? That was the story.
Yeah.
Fornication, promiscuity, premarital sex, homosexuality.
Oh, yeah, you never had premarital sex, huh?
Cutting people's
She never had good premarital sex, I would bet.
Parts off in the name of transgender ideology. Look what this has spiraled out of control. So anybody with eyes can see, wait a minute, accepting degeneracy just creates more degeneracy and society gets out of control. So instead of platforming degeneracy and saying, hey, look, guys, we're cool. We accept degeneracy too. We accept demon worship. God. It's fine. No.
It's
not fine.
The worst. It's not fine.
Hey, I'm just saying that by being on YouTube and telling your followers to watch your YouTube videos, you're exposing them to the other things on YouTube that you would consider degeneracy. So you're, in a way, bringing people to this platform to possibly be exposed to it. So you're part of it too.
I'm just saying you're an annoying person. That's what I'm saying.
So then someone's in my place. Demonic is when other religions exist. Correct. Jesus Christ is the only way. Everything else is demonic.
Frog Tony says this divorced chick who cheated on her husband has no room to talk. Hey, Frog Tony, it's not fair to say that. She's still single after cheating on her husband and getting divorced. So the guy she cheated with didn't even stay with her.
I'm sick and tired of this subjective truth. Oh, well, this is your truth. This is my truth. Look where we're at in society. How do we get here? There is truth and anything not that is not truth.
Yeah, and when you're the one
fact
dictating what truth is, I don't care what truth is. And that is just a fact.
of life. You can't kumbaya. Oh, we all need to unite. No, you don't unite good with evil.
Tacoma. Hope Dix lives up to
Whoa!
Go eat them dicks.
Yeah,
Joey.
yeah. Eat some dicks. Do they have dicks in Tacoma?
I don't know. Do they?
I don't think they do. Do they?
I think you can go to Federal Way is the closest.
Yeah.
So
and
not
that's like
too far.
halfway between here and Tacoma, right? Federal Way?
I think Federal Way is closer than half, but
okay.
Friendship
I think it's the other side of half.
with the world is enmity with
Could be
God.
about
This
halfway,
is
though,
scripture.
honestly.
You don't believe in that the power of Christ alone is strong enough to make a change in
It
this
does not
nation and to
compel me.
elect good leaders in this nation? Really? You think you have to promote degeneracy?
Well, Christ actually didn't offer to show up at the RNC, so they had to go with Amber Rose.
Hogan did, though.
Yeah, brother.
That's the thing. It's when you stoop to these levels and you promote demon worship and degeneracy, and then, oh, let's say you get your result you wanted. You got the president you wanted. He ain't gonna fix everything if he's not leaning on Christ, and this is not leaning.
Yeah, Federal Way is the closest location to Tacoma, and it is pretty close. It's probably like 20 minutes away from Tacoma.
Yeah.
On Christ. This is why I pray, and I encourage everyone else to pray, that Donald Trump will be convicted for the evil that took place at the RNC yesterday.
What? Wow! Oh my God! So she's hoping that because of what happened at the RNC, Donald Trump gets convicted for all these crimes that he's been indicted for. He was already convicted of some.
Yeah, sorry, Melanie. God obviously likes Trump. He saved his life.
And that he will feel conviction from the Holy Spirit. Because this is unacceptable. I said 1 Kings and 2
Cobra
Kings in the
Commander
Bible
says,
demonstrate.
quote, pick me, her. Yeah, she is very much, she is the epitome of pick me.
Yeah.
Where rulers who did not tear down idols and who did not end prostitution caused turmoil for Israel. God did not bless them unless they were obedient in this way. Yesterday at the RNC, they prayed to a demon and propped a prostitute. Let that sink in. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Is he though? Because like he created the world in a very specific way, and then humans fucked it up according to the Bible, and he had to like punish them and make them wear clothes, and because they had the knowledge of good and evil. And then he hit the reset button later on, where he like killed everyone on Earth except for like a couple people, and then. Yeah, so it doesn't.
He sent his son down to reset everything.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like he can make up his mind, and it never really works. And then he has to like have a contingency plan.
As infallible as y'all say God is, he sure does have these last minute amendments that he has to make.
So if you have this sort of delusion that thinks you can separate God from this country and expect it to be blessed, good luck seeing how that works out. That's why we're here right now.
Oh, you're so stupid.
And
I
it's
hate you.
only going to get worse if we don't stand up against it. So I said, looks like Sweet Baby Inc. consulted for the RNC yesterday, which if you're a gamer, you know what I'm talking about. Woke company. So then someone was talking about,
if you're a gamer, you know what I'm talking
that
about.
Amber Rose,
You're
he was
using
defending
gamer
Amber.
talking points for your Coomer gamer audience that just wants to nod their head and say, yeah, you're so right. You're so right, Melanie Mac. You're so right. I'm going to jerk it to you tonight. You're so right. God damn.
He didn't realize she still had an active OF. And so he goes, I stand corrected. Gross, I stand corrected. Good for him for being able to do that. I said, I watched Amber Rose's speech.
As much as I don't believe in Jesus, I do believe Jesus was a better person than the majority of people I see on YouTube talking in his name.
Searched if she had an OF. She was active on it minutes after her RNC speech. Y'all got duped.
I was looking at Melanie Mac's ex-husband's Twitter, and Boogie follows him on Twitter. It's kind of funny.
My guy.
I watched her speech. It didn't sit right with me. I felt conviction, like, wow. I felt my discernment kick in. This is wrong. This is demonic. So then I go and I'm like, oh, let me make sure that I didn't just, my impression wasn't wrong. Let me make sure maybe she doesn't do this stuff anymore. Maybe she found Jesus, and I don't want to
The
judge
biggest
somebody who's
difference
found
between
Jesus.
her and the vigilant Christian is the vigilant Christian is more fuckable.
I wonder how Mario's doing these days. Haven't seen anything from him in a few years now. So
I hope he's retired doing orgy with the godly bros.
Jesus and his changed from their past, you know? I go and search. Her OF was not only still there, but active. Minutes. She got off that RNC stage and opened up her OF app. That's exactly what
Hell
happened.
Yeah. I love that.
Maybe Eric July will let Melanie write a comic book for him.
I hope he lets Amber Rose write a comic book for him before Melanie Mack.
Don't be delusional to think you didn't get played. And then here, I have a screenshot. Amber Rose added
Wasn't Melanie Mack at the meetup that
Yes.
Riley got arrested at?
Yes. They're all interconnected. So that's why I was saying that. They actually
The
already
fucking the hate squad.
There's crossover. They have crossover audience.
off sale to her prostitution page and stated she is finally going to be more active again, just in time for her RNC speech. Wow, how convenient. Look how much conservative values she has.
Melanie Mack should write a comic book that is a parody of the Squirrel Girl comic book character. And she should play Girl, a girl that was born a girl and lives her life as a girl. That'd be a wonderful conservative fucking gender relation comic book.
Oh, but why are you judging? Why are you judging? She is promoting degeneracy, and I am calling out the sin. I hope she finds Jesus and turns from this. But right now, she is pushing degeneracy and abomination to this nation.
I love how people can spew hatred and then follow it up with, I hope she finds Jesus. That's like the equivalent of saying, no offense, but.
Yep.
Said, I wonder what RNC Day 2 has in store. Maybe they'll sacrifice a child to Moloch on stage. Gotta sway those live votes after all. Some people are so mad.
See, it's shit like that makes me think she knows she's full of shit, and she's just making the money from this audience that she found.
Dude. Probably. Like, early on, when I first saw her popping up before I knew her political alignment, videos of her going viral complaining about like pick me male things were going viral, and she was eating a stick of butter in them. And I'm like, oh, she's obviously a fucking troll.
She was like giving it a beach.
Yeah, well, no, she just had a stick of butter in her hand.
Oh,
And
I
it was
thought she was like...
It had nothing to do with the video. She was just talking some pick me bullshit, eating a stick of butter. I'm like, this is the... Because when people are trolling, they usually have a tell.
Was she on like an all-fat diet or something?
I hope so. I mean, I thought it was just her being a troll so that people would then respond, why are you eating butter? Because that's what trolls do to get more people talking shit about their videos. They put a catch to get people to talk shit.
Yeah. Do you remember the big Trisha Paytas one, the dogs don't have brains video?
Yeah, Trisha Paytas was great. Remember when she posted a picture of her butthole on the internet for everybody to see? It was a huge blown up picture, and she didn't bother checking.
I remember you talking about it all the time, so I made sure not to go look at it.
She didn't bother checking the very high definition close up picture of her butthole for flecks of toilet paper in it. Like, you don't put something that clear and brown and round onto the internet without checking if it's spotless.
I've lost like 500 followers over this. I don't care. I don't care. I can lose every single one of them if I have to. I don't care. I wasn't afraid of being canceled back during the COVID jab and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not afraid of being canceled by Republicans now. I don't give a crap. My allegiance
I would like to see her get canceled. When's she getting canceled?
Is not in man. It is in Christ.
For something. What's a good reason?
That's
She should be
it.
canceled for existing.
So if anybody is supporting degeneracy and they think that we're going to win through degeneracy, you of little faith. You of little faith. So at this point, do I still want to vote for Donald Trump? Yes. But am I 100% convinced that I will be voting at all? No. I want to see how more of this plays out.
I'm glad she put a jacket on Tomb
Because
Raider.
I don't think that electing whoever is going to save the nation. We will only be saved.
What's that thing that looks like a giant beer bottle, but it has Pittsburgh Steelers logo on it?
I think there is a giant beer bottle with a Pittsburgh Steelers logo on it next to maybe a gel blaster or something.
Yeah, that's a gun from Halo, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
If we turn to Jesus Christ, and Donald Trump needs to put us in that position as well.
A Halo needler.
I pray that the rest of whatever's going on at this convention is definitely different, because this is unacceptable.
I wonder what she said about
we will
day
not
2.
be blessed
Fuck.
as a nation if we support this. And that's the thing, is so many people are like, oh, well, just get the votes and then let him be president and then he'll clean house after. Oh, so you're saying just lie and manipulate people into getting their votes, then change.
How
then
could she
change
go from
everything and pull
calling
the rug
Trump-
from under them. How about we...
Your mic's fucking up.
Go from saying that Trump's assassination attempt failure was a miracle to now saying that Trump is not in God's good grace.
Yeah, and she says she hopes Trump gets convicted.
Yeah, I mean, if God pulled a miracle to keep Trump alive, and then 1 week later Trump was doing things against God, then your God sucks. Your God's like, I choose Trump, then 1 week later he's failing. You should stop believing in God if God could let that happen.
They've always allowed people of other religions at the Republican convention. That she's acting like this is just a new thing that they just started doing. It's not true. They've always invited, because they need the votes. There's a ton. They need to win Michigan, and there's a ton of Muslims that live in Michigan. They need to get at least some of those votes.
Yeah,
I mean that's just how it is.
She's a two-faced Karen.
Yeah.
Be honest? Yeah, because that's sure going to make people trust the Republican Party again next term. Short-term gains? I'm looking at the long game. Our nation will not be blessed without focusing on Jesus Christ, period. So, stay mad. I don't know what else to say. But
I heard Jesus Christ was going to speak at the DNC.
I'm not afraid of losing followers. Wasn't afraid of it during the pandemic stuff. Not afraid of it now. So it is what it is.
Why is she bringing that up? That's completely different.
Because she wants to keep her sycophants happy. Said, remember me when I stood up against the pandemic, guys, and we all love that.
Yeah.
Don't forget me now that I'm talking against Papa Trump.
The good old days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a giant tampon under Laura Croft's arm there? Or is that an inflatable stick of butter?
It does look like a big inflatable stick of butter. It has the cut lines on it.
Yeah, it's probably butter.
Yeah. Yes, it is. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for the night.
Yeah. Thank y'all for hanging on a special Sunday Biden drops the fuck out episode of Drunken Peasants.
Yep. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I'm an incel, mindful is shit. I'm a Christian, and I have pretense. I'm a Buddhist, and I wear no clothes. I'm a pedo, and I think that shows. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a simpro, and I'm all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a synth bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know